Welcome to the 2019 NHL Gaming World Championship. We are in beautiful Stockholm, Sweden for the EU Regional. It is the first of 3 stops on the road to the final in Las Vegas. And Eki, the reigning world champion, oh, he's back. And he's trying to reclaim the title and take home $50,000. Tonight, we have 8 of the best NHL19 players from Europe competing for their spot in the final. 3 returning players from Finland, 5 newcomers, all of which are ready for their chance at the title. Hey, welcome into the Nordic Entertainment Group studios for the European Regional Final. I am Faisal Kamisa. Happy to be joined by Arda Okal and Andrew Nasher Telfer. Guys, we spent some time together last year in Toronto, spending a little more time this time around. This time around, though, the format a little bit different, Arda.
Yes, happy to see you here, by the way.
Thank you, appreciate that.
Glad you are here. The format is different. We went hot this year for Season 2 and also the regional draft. We're going to get into that a lot as this tournament goes on, how the players were able to construct their teams, but also for dramatic effect. Best 2 out of 3 each round. You lose, Nasher, you're out.
Yep, exactly. And 10,000 plus total people enter this tournament. We are now down to 8 here in Europe, 3 coming back from last year, then a few new guys in the mix as well. It's going to be a nice mix of old and new.
All right, before we get to the new, let's recap the old. Last year was the first season for the NHL Gaming World Championship. We had players from all over the world competing for the top prize, but it was Eki, who was from Espoo, Finland, going undefeated to become the 2018 NHL Gaming World Champion. Arda, we know he's good, but what makes his style of play just so dominant?
Look, we can talk about the fact that he chooses quality over quantity, constantly taking the best possible opportunities to shoot and score, the puck possession. But for me, it is that mental game. Under any sort of pressure, Eki rises to the occasion.
And players here define him as world champion. That is how everyone knows him. He is the strongest mental player, as you said. He's been down many times before, always manages to fight back, and we'll see if he can do it on the big stage.
He says since he's become world champ, he's been getting a lot more attention from players and people just wanting his time. And you know what? We're going to do the same thing. Let's head over to Carly Johnston, who's with the reigning world champ in the Honda road to the finals area.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, I'm standing here with the guy who won it all last year, Eki. How does it feel to be back in Stockholm for the European Regional Final?
Of course, very good. I just want the same thing to happen as last year, win it all. But of course, I maybe practiced more to this tournament than I did a year before. So I will just give everything I have and see how it goes.
This year is a little different. You guys were able to draft your own players. What was your strategy going into that draft?
Basically, I just wanted good centers first, so I picked centers in the first 2 rounds, and then just a balanced team. I didn't really care that much about star power. I just wanted a balanced team, and if I would have to do it over again, I would want a little more speed. But I still think my team is one of the best ones, and it is good enough to make it to Vegas.
Awesome. We've got some new guys this year and some guys who came back after last year. Who's going to be your toughest opponent, and what's it going to take to get back to Las Vegas?
I actually think the toughest opponents are in the other side of the bracket. Playmaker and Hans Lindho, they've been very good when I played against them. But in my side, I have Dominointi and then probably Cricketsi later. So those guys are also pretty good, and you can't underestimate anyone because everyone here knows how to play. And you just have to be on your A game all the time. You can't make any mistakes. But yeah.
Thanks so much, Eki. Best of luck to you. Back to you guys.
All right, thanks a lot, Carly. No surprise, Eki is ready to go. Now let's take a look at the road to the 2019 NHL Gaming World Championship Final. The journey began with online qualifiers across each of the 3 regions, Europe, Canada, and the U.S. Hundreds of competitors facing off in a single elimination bracket with only the top 8 moving on to the live regional finals. Hey, that first final, it takes place today in Stockholm, Sweden. The second, my hometown, next week in Toronto. The third will be in New York. The winner and runner-up from each live regional final will win a trip to compete in the final in Las Vegas, Nevada, where they will attend the NHL Awards and compete head-to-head to win their share of $100,000. let's take a full look at the prize pool. If you win your regional final, 5,000 American dollars, you advance straight to the semifinal round in Vegas. Second place, not bad. You're going to Vegas as well in the round robin stage. First place at the NHL Gaming World Championship final, $50,000. Second place, not bad, 15 grand. 10 grand for finishing third, 5 for fourth, $2,500 for making it there, finishing fifth or sixth. Either way, a good honor to have and some money in your pocket. Hey, let's take a look at the 8 players who are competing today in the EU regional final. Guys, some players from the PS4 side, some from the Xbox side. What stands out, Arda, to you in this bracket?
I wonder which headshot stands out the most. Might be the beard Nasher, might be Hanselino. Second time here. The beard, I think, has grown since last year.
Oh, absolutely. I don't think he shaved that thing once since the last time we were here. I love the mix of players we have. We got a mix of streamers. We got guys playing competitive for the first time this year. Everyone's on the board.
And everyone is trying to take down Eki, who is, of course, the reigning world champion. And here's how they'll match up based on seeding from the online qualifiers. It is a single elimination bracket, but guys, each of the matches will be best of 3.
I love the drama of this format right here. You lose that series and you are going home. It just adds to the whole pageantry of this tournament.
Absolutely. And towards the end, that last game, last year they both went on to Vegas to play. This year, getting that #1 spot where you are guaranteed time to play in Vegas, and of course $5,000 is going to be huge this year.
That's not bad.
Also new for this season, all games will be played using the Hockey Ultimate Team. Yes, HUT is an NHL19 game mode that allows you to create your fantasy lineup and compete online against other players from around the world. Now, before today's event, the regional finalists all took part in a fantasy draft to select their 25-player roster and NHL team. Each player has their own custom roster with no 2 competitors having the same NHL players. This is a really unique feature. I'm excited to see some of the line pairings. Nasher, I know you are as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Lots of different pairings. No 2 teams exactly the same in this one. Eki, obviously one of the favorites. He's got Matthews, Scheifele, Aho, Eichel on his team. Hanselino, another one going into it. He actually had the #1 pick in the draft, so we got McDavid on his team, Backstrom, Ben, Carlson, Panarin. The names go on. We're going to see some very interesting matchups here today.
And we've seen some interesting draft strategies. We'll talk about that as the matchups get on. Right now, we're going to take a quick break, but don't go anywhere, because coming up next, we have the quarterfinal round matches here at the NHL Gaming World Championship.
Coming up closer and closer. There it is. Oh, yeah, beautiful.
Cars like this don't come around often. The Type R, the most powerful Civic ever, from Honda. Official vehicle of the NHL.
What's the difference between good and great? Good treats you like a customer. Great treats you like a friend. From saving your haircut details and clip notes to saving you time with online check-in, Great Clips makes your life easier, just like a great friend should. Great Clips, it's gonna be great. What's the difference between good and great? Good tries to get it right every time. Great actually does. With Clip Notes, we save your haircut details so you always get exactly the look you want. Great Clips, it's gonna be great.
Which forward in the NHL is the toughest to defend?
It's almost like he's got a pot attached to a string when he stick handles. Austin Matthews!
pasta. Large cold brew?
Better make it a medium. I only have 2 minutes.
Hey, ref, check your voicemail. You missed some calls.
Wow, she knows your order?
Yeah, I'm pretty much a regular here.
Where there's hockey, there's Dunkin'. So grab a cold brew for game time. America runs on Dunkin'.
Official partner of the 2019 NHL Gaming World Championship. Bold, refreshing, brisk.
Welcome back to the NHL Gaming World Championship. We are in Stockholm, Sweden for the European Regional Final. The top 2 players from today will be moving on to Las Vegas. You already know I am Faisal Kamisa. Joining me, of course, Arda Okal and the man they call Nasher. It is going to be an exciting day. Hey, 2019 NHL fans, are you a GWC Extreme fan? Keep watching for a chance to win a prize pack from Adidas consisting of an autographed 2019 NHL All-Star jersey, an Astro Gaming backpack, an Astro A40 TR headset, and Mix Amp bundle, a $50 USD NHLShop.com gift card, and an Adidas cap courtesy of Adidas. Immediately prior to the final series, we will conduct a drawing from among all entrants who've been with us for at least 2 straight hours. See the Extreme Fan presented by Adidas panel below for rules and other information. No purchase necessary. Open to legal EU, US, and Canadian, excluding Quebec residents, age of majority or older only. All right. The lone player not from Finland today is Ilung. He traveled in from Austria. He finished 4th in the Xbox qualifier. He told us if he was to win it all here in Stockholm, he would donate the prize money to charity. Meet Ilung.
I was with my friend who's here today, sitting at home and saying like, yeah, we have to play now. Let's try. Let's give it a chance. And we didn't think that we could do any damage on the pro guys, but I got in and I didn't even realize I was in until somebody on Xbox sent me a text, congratulations to Game World Championship in Stockholm. And I was like, no, that can't be true. And my friend was already saying, you're in. And then we were like drinking 2 beers and it soaked in and I pretty much enjoyed it, so, yeah.
Now, just a short time ago, Kriketsky and Ilung played through their series. Here's a look at some of the highlights from their match. Now, in Game 1, it was Kriketsky scoring a quick first goal. Ilung really struggled to get any great chances on that. Arda, Kriketsky taking Game 1 4-0.
Yeah, listen, Ilung traveled far to get here. He's from Austria. It just goes to show you that really, if you put your mind to it, even if you are a casual player of this game, anything can happen and you can make the tournament. But there is a big gap between even the best casual players and those who really play this game and grind it on a daily basis.
Yeah, Kriketsky's putting in hours upon hours every single day, and you can see it again and again coming up. Watch these plays as he's setting up. Just nice little one-timer, back and forth. He continues to do it all game long, ends up winning that game 4-0.
Ilung with the reaction there, almost knowing after Game 1 that might have been it. In Game 2, though, a little bit better to start. At least he held Kriketsky scoreless until the second period. He, however, could not get on the board himself, and Nasher, ultimately, that would be his downfall. Not scoring is going to be a problem. He loses Game 2.
Yeah, it looks like his defense was just letting him down there. He let Patty Kane walk in wide open to the open slot. He ends up burying it, and as you can see, them giving some handshakes of respect going back and forth.
I want to say, though, I love Ilung's story. I mean, even though he's out of this tournament right now, he treated this as a weekend away. He's in his 30s. He's an IT technician. He calls himself a hockey nerd. He's the kind of guy you want to go and have a drink with, and that's why I'm happy he's here.
And he's 31. He can have that drink. However, he is not moving on. He's got time for that right now. Kriketsky, your first one through to the next round now, just 2 wins away from advancing to Vegas. However, he'll play the winner of Eki and Domino Inti. Both we know are some good players. And let's get into that. Our second quarterfinal match where it is Eki, the reigning world champion, taking on Domino Inti. And guys, head-to-head, both of them with some high praise for each other going into this match. Your thoughts and expectations?
Well, when we were talking with both of them regarding their rosters, Eki said, I'm pretty happy with my lineup from top to bottom. Maybe if I were to draft again, I might lean a little bit more speed. But as you take a look at these head-to-head statistics, I mean, Eki is as consistent as can be. Look at the goals per game. Look at the goals against average. Perfect on the penalty kill. That's what you would expect from the world champion.
Absolutely. And when we look at Domi, he's more of a sixes player. He was telling us, even getting ready and going into this tournament, he still wanted to focus on sixes. So it's going to be interesting. Eki obviously putting in hours upon hours in Hockey Ultimate Team. Is that going to affect Domi going into this thing?
Well, just a short time ago, they played through their first game of the series. Here's a look at the highlights. It is no surprise Eki starting off strong. 2 goals in the first period, including on the power play. We saw his special team stats. They're good. He continued his dominance and winning 6-0, leading the series 1-0.
6-0 your final score. Shots are 14-7. 8-4 in hits. Perfect on the power play. Eki is making a statement in this first game. When we talked to him, Nasher, he said, I got a bullseye on my back because everyone wants a chance at the world champ and everyone wants to be able to say they beat the world champ. But guess what? He made a statement in that first game.
And it's not just easy goals, too. He pulled off between the legs there, took it to his backhand, buried it. These are not easy plays. He is getting fancy. He's doing what he needs to do and using creativity at its best.
As for his opponent, Domino Inti, he's from Tampere, Finland. He finished 3rd in the PS4 qualifier. His favorite team is the Pittsburgh Penguins. He said, no one is unbeatable in one-on-one. Some fighting words. Here is Domino Inti.
Pittsburgh Penguins has been my favorite team for a long time. But my favorite player doesn't play there, it's actually Pavel Datsyuk. I think there are lots of good players, so it will be interesting to see who's going to win, but I think it will be either Hansu or Eki.
Well, Domino Inti predicting the guy he's playing might be one of the ones to win it all. He's got something to say about that ahead of Game 2. Let's start the second game of the series between Eki and Domino Inti.
Well, we are in the quarterfinals. If Eki wins this game right here, he will move on to the semifinals. Eki said about Domino Inti when we talked with him yesterday, he's played forever. Domino Inti is underestimated. He is one of the best in the world. His team is based on speed. That is a key factor because Eki has mentioned, Nasher, that his team maybe lacks a little bit of speed, especially as you go down the line.
Yeah, he has some good players up high. He has Matthews, Scheifele, Aho, and Eichel, his top forwards there. We'll see more towards the end. He may be struggling a little bit, especially with those 3rd and 4th lines.
So it's Domino Inti as the Pittsburgh Penguins, and that will happen throughout the entire tournament. All of these competitors have picked one particular team to represent, and Eki is his beloved Toronto Maple Leafs. But it is Domino Inti with the first couple of opportunities there, and now, and of course you will notice different players on different, as we have a little bit of a pause here, we'll get to that in a little second, but we do have different names on the rosters. Obviously Jack Eichel does not play for the Toronto Maple Leafs, but being that we're in hut mode in the regional draft, you will see that. Might be a little bit jarring at first if you're not familiar with the game mode, but it is a lot of fun because they were able to construct a lot of great teams, Asher.
Exactly, and yeah, looking through the offense and the defense here, Matthews, we got Werenski on defense, Carlson on defense. The lines are going to be mixed and matched. It's not going to be your traditional Pittsburgh on Pittsburgh, Tampa on Tampa. We have all different lineups here today.
I am not going to miss Crosby, hit by Crosby, Crosby has the puck. I am not missing that
whatsoever. I think you've done enough of that in your entire life.
That's it. I don't need to do that ever again. So here's Dommy, as he likes to be called, nicknamed Domino Inti. Meanwhile, though, Eki takes the puck in the neutral zone. There's Jonathan Taves for Domi. Taves has the puck deep in the offensive zone, looking for the one-timer, and gets it. He gets on the board. Important first goal for Domino Inti.
Wow, did not expect this early. Eki obviously winning the first game 6-0. Domi coming out of nowhere. Easy one-timer across the middle. Eki, obviously one of our strongest mental players in this game. We'll see if he's able to bounce back and get right back to this thing.
How important is this first goal, especially since we talked about how calm Eki can be under any circumstance, but Domino Inti gets the first goal. This must be good for the confidence.
Well, this is huge because he hasn't scored a goal yet this tournament. First game down 6-0. He probably thought he was out of it going into this one. To get the first one, he's got that mental edge right now, but we know Eki's going to be bouncing back strong.
Domino Inti works at a car part factory. He's a machine operator. Eki is the lone full-time esports competitor in this entire tournament. His whole job is practicing in Chell and playing Chell, playing in tournaments. He's been very successful. We have seen the success locally in Finland, in Europe, and internationally as well.
Yeah, obviously winning the $50,000 last year helped. He is actually paid by his esports team. Domi, another good opportunity robbed there. You're going to see a lot. The Europeans decide to go with the manual goalie. It's going to come up pretty much every breakaway, every good one-timer opportunity. You'll see Eki, you'll see other players do it too. They're going to manually control the goalie to make the save.
Also watch the penalties. Domino Inti mentioned that he is someone who's prone to take a lot of penalties. He was among the highest penalty takers in qualification, according to the statistics. So the way that Eki plays, Domino Inti might take a lot more penalties than usual. So watch for that in this series as well.
And you know Eki's going to be burying them too. He went 1-for-1 last game. He's going to come back stronger this game. Once those penalties start rattling up and growing on this board, he's going to be burying them right away.
Eki in the offensive zone takes the shot to save there. Here's Nylander for Domi. Nylander has it again across the blue line. Werenski now for Eki. Swats it away in his own zone. There's Jonathan Taves. As Tactics called him pre-show, the North Dakota connection there on the second line, including Jonathan Taves there. Great job by Tactics and Amanda Susi on the GWC lobby. And that will be happening the entire way through, so you will have a pre-show on all of the stops. There's McAvoy from the point. Are we going Domi or Domi for the correct pronunciation?
I believe he wanted Domi, but he was kind of fine either way. If you want to go Domi, we can go Domi.
I guess it's more of a hockey thing.
Yep.
Might as well stick with Domi. Max Domi in the game, one of the rosters. You're not in this particular game. I believe Kriketsi has Max Domi.
You can see Eki here. He's actually playing kind of a trap. He's staying back a little bit, not really controlling his defense. And there we have Eki taking his first penalty of the tournament thus far. A little bit undisciplined.
A little bit of a turn of events here from what both players were really expecting and trying to get to the front of the net from behind the goal line, and it will now be Domi going to the power play. Eki finding himself in a little bit of unfamiliar territory. Stop dancing, Iceberg. Come on. Get your head in the game.
You saw a good face-off draw there from Domi. Tried to go for the top, almost made his way to the front of the net with a little backhand. Eki, though, coming in huge with the defensive play.
Playing a little keep away behind the net now. Domino Inti just looking for that right moment. This is a little bit from Eki's playbook. This is definitely gets pinned up against the boards, though. Might lose the puck here, and does. Eki with a chance to clear. Will take Austin Matthews, his first overall pick. Matthews in his natural jersey, one of the few instances in this game. A maximum of 3 players in their natural jerseys in this in the European Regional Finals. The shot there will miss. Domino still on the power play with seconds to spare here. Eki will kill it off. It's still 1-0 late in the first period. Eki with a 1-0 series lead. It is best of 3 the entire way through. You lose, you're out. Into the neutral zone. Here's Eki now with Stahl. Stahl has the puck. Will look for a one-timer for Hoffman. Can't get there, however. Meanwhile, Domi to Steven Stamkos as captain of the team. Stamkos loses it. The clock will tick away in the first, and it will be Domi with a 1-0 lead.
Very slow and steady first match there. Domi obviously playing his game. He is a sixes player. Usually plays ESHL where you control one single player. So you can see him kind of circling around in the corners a little bit, trying to open up space, and that's what comes from his sixes gameplay.
Look, I know there's a lot of respect for the reigning world champion, of course, Eki, but this, a reaction from the crowd when Domino Inti scores says it all. Everybody is gunning for the champion. That's Hanselino with his hand up because they're so surprised that the reigning world champ, after winning 6-0 in game one, allowed the first one and only one of that first period.
You know who wasn't reacting was Eki's fiance in the front row. Definitely did not want to see that goal go in. As we get into the second period, here's still 1-0, of course. Eki mentioned to us that we asked him, so what was the day after winning the championship like? And he said that he spent 3 hours responding to hundreds of text messages and DMs, like congratulatory messages. His phone just blew up.
And he also said he responded to every single one. What a guy.
What a nice guy.
He took his whole day after winning the 50K, devoted it to other people.
Would never do that. I would never do that. He's a much nicer man than me. And he has devoted a lot of time in practicing this game as well. As we mentioned, he is a full-time esports competitor. Chell is his job. And so he's able to compete in tournaments. He has had success in sixes. He's had success in versus. And now we will see if he will have the same kind of success in HUT here at GWC.
Another thing to note, he is a big streamer. He started to get into streaming pretty much daily, but once he qualified for the tournament here in Sweden, he decided to cut that off so other players couldn't see his strategies.
Let's talk a little bit about Domi's roster. Stamkos is his captain, assistants are Gudro and Sagan. As Eki has an opportunity here, he's just circling around, has the puck behind the net. Talk a little bit about Domi's roster and what sticks out at you.
Yeah, so Domi's got a good all-around roster. I think a lot of the guys did a really good job of drafting it up. It looks like his first line, Stammer, Sagan, Johnny Hockey. He's got Letang, Ekman Larson on defense, all around looking solid. He did decide to go with the players on the off wing, so right-handed players are going to be on that left side so he can hit the one-timers. That's what resulted in his first goal.
Now, you will see that. The wingers on the off wing is predominantly the game plan used by most elite players. There's only one that you can really think of that you will see in the American regional finals in a few days that use the natural sides of the wingers, and that's Junior Pens.
Yeah.
But that's America. We'll get to that later. And there's a goal there for Eki as he ties it up with Charlie McAvoy.
Just an absolute rip. I think he may be a little surprised that that one went in. Usually you don't see it. A nice shot, goes top corner. He found some open space, and Domi let in his first one.
See, there is an interesting shot right there. One goal rattles Domi. That would certainly not rattle Eki with the poise that he has. And you got to wonder, as we take a look at it one more time, it just streaks through. McAvoy able to find... As we look at it one more time, perhaps, no opportunity there, but it was just a matter of inches right there.
That's the thing about Eki. He may not have a ton of good opportunities in a game, but every time he gets an ounce of open space, he's going to set up a one-timer, he's going to set up an open shot, and he did it yet again right here.
Domi mentioned regarding his roster that he thought his top 5 picks were pretty good, but then he picked defense perhaps a little bit too early. One of the big strategies in the regional draft was to sort of let the defenders in the later rounds, and certainly goaltenders as well.
Yeah, same thing with the goalies. Obviously, with there only being 8 players in this team and in the draft, they had at least, one of the 8 good goalies in the NHL. Obviously, a lot of these guys electing to draft their goalies round 7. Some waited even as far as round 15 to get their goaltender.
Eki has the puck behind the net. He is met by Domi. Pinned up against the boards, comes out with it. There's Pominville to Hannafin at the point, who will skate through all the way to the goal line behind the net. Hannafin still has it. Forwards will have to pinch or play D to cover. Stahl is the one. He'll take the puck. You'll also notice that numbers are duplicated on rosters as well. They are the natural numbers, so you will definitely see that, but you get used to it very quickly. There's some ballerina action in the neutral zone. Probably see a lot of that in this tournament as well. Behind the net is Domi. Domi has it now. Looking to make a line change there. Will dance his way into the neutral zone. A pass up to TJ Oshie. Oshie hovering around. Will go back all the way down to the goal line. Loses it, however. Sorelli now up to Bjorkstrand. Bjorkstrand evades a couple of defenders, passes to Sorelli, looking for the one-timer, doesn't get there. Hurdle will take it for Domi to Clefbaum. Domi has it there, avoided a possible sure goal. Dumba has it now. To Glendening. 24 seconds left in the second period. Duclair misses the one-timer. Demers with seconds to spare. We are tied at 1 after the second.
All right, everything to play for going into the third, especially if you're Domino Inti, who looked just so dejected after giving up that one goal, but he escaped the second period, only giving up that one goal, and so he still has a chance to take this game, guys, and play himself into a game 3.
Yeah, absolutely. The thing about Eki, though, his defense is so suffocating. You can see there's a little bit of space in the corners. That's all Eki's going to give him. He's got to just loop back and forth and try to find the space, and Eki's not allowing those one-timers to get through.
Third period underway. Will Domi extend his playoff life, or will Eki move on to the semifinals? Domi has the first chance here with Stamkos, passes it back to Sagan, but great defense by Eki. Austin Matthews across the blue line. Almost had a lane there. Still possesses the puck. Behind the net to Carlson. Between the legs to Hannafin. Hannafin, a lot of skating with the D pairings for Eki. Loves that puck possession. Looking for that perfect shot, but gets in the way, does Domi. Oliver Ekman-Larsson now has the puck. A line change will prevent the lead pass. There's Clayton Keller. Keller will lose it in the neutral zone. Jack Eichel. A little bit of a Team USA vibe here with Jack Eichel and Charlie McAvoy and Austin Matthews on Eki's squad.
All the big guns, yes.
There's Nylander to Keller. Letang has it. Letang takes the shot, the rebound. Taves was at the doorstep.
What a save. Eki got a little bit bailed out there. Nice little rebound coming back and forth. Unfortunately, not able to get it to go.
The wide eyes from Domi said it all. He thought that he had that one to take the lead, but instead it's Eki now in the offensive zone. Eki holds on to it. Scheifele, a cheeky pass there to try and create the one-timer. Behind the net, Domi has the puck. Taves to Clefbaum and Dumba. Oshie, big hit in the neutral zone. Catch the plate on that truck. Wow. We don't see crunching hits often at this level of play, but when you do, it's always impressive.
It's always a risk, because if you miss the hit, they could be gone the other way. Eki there with a huge one. It gave him a good chance to come in and get the zone, and oh, what a dive!
The dive! That's the Ardo Cal right there. Well done. I love seeing the dive poke.
That's a risky
It never works for me, but it works at the elite level. Good job. Another big hit. Zucker has it now. Love the diving poke check. Love it. Let's make that the meta. Werenski has it. Where was the shot? No, Stahl takes the shot. Murray with the save. Wow, Domi gets bailed out by his goalie there.
We were standing up there. We were waiting for the shot from Eki. He didn't take it. He waited for that perfect play. Almost had the backdoor pass. Unfortunately, can't get it to go. We are still tied at 1.
Domi has 3 Penguins on his roster, Dumoulin, Letang, and Matt Murray, the goaltender, who is standing on his head in this third period right now, keeping Domi in this game. Sagan now, a partial break, will spin around though. A battle at the goal line. A shot from the point doesn't make it through. Stamkos has it now, loses it to Pominville. Eki behind the net. Eki will wait it out. His textbook patience on display. A line change. A pass to nowhere. Letang will corral it, and there's a chase, though. Eichel might get to it first, and he does. Looking for the pass to Aho, but won't make it there. 4:25 left in the third period. We're still tied at 1. Aho has it. Passes to Carlson. Looking for that one-timer again. Matthews was there right at the top of the crease. A lead pass to Taves doesn't make it. Eki corrals it. Hannafin to Carlson for Eki, the world champ. crosses the blue line. Still dancing around, able to evade his defenders. To Stone. Stone behind the net. Bank pass to Hoffman. Around the net. Look at that patience.
He's just waiting for the open one-timer. Unfortunately, Domi playing great defense all around, giving him no space in the slot. Once he gets in behind the net, he decides to get a little bit more aggressive, go for the pokes, grab the puck back, and we are going up the ice, 49 seconds left.
Yeah, we might have our first taste of extra time, but hold that thought as Eki is in the neutral zone. Here's Charlie McAvoy. McAvoy, the puck finds its way to Aho, but instead, Domi with a lead pass to Perot won't make it. Eki now, 27 seconds to go, still tied at 1. There's Eichel. A lot of ice time for Eichel in this game. That top line, Matthews, Eichel and Aho. McAvoy. Ten seconds is going to need to take a shot from the point and scores! Nudi Bara! Eki might have just sent Domi home with that snipe from the point, and Domi is not happy about it at all.
Oh my goodness, Eki has done it yet again. We said he was the strongest mental player in this game. Seconds remaining on the clock. He circled around, you saw his patience, buries the one-timer from the point.
Did you expect anything else from the world champ? From the point, knew what he was doing, waited patiently when everyone else was saying, shoot the puck. He said, I will wait, ladies and gentlemen, and find the perfect moment, in which Eki certainly did.
Domi decided to take a timeout here. He's going to collect his thoughts a little bit. He'll also get fully recharged with his lines. He's going to get his first line, first deep pair on the ice. You can see he's going full out attack. He's going to be pushing these last 8 seconds.
Face-off loss for Eki. He's got to take a shot here. 4 seconds to go. Looking at the Sagan. Has it all. And a one-timer, the pad save. And that will be it. Domi's out of the tournament. Eki moves on. Wow.
Inches away from burying. He won the draw. You could not have drew up a more perfect play. Unfortunately, Domi robbed at the doorstep, and he is gone.
Faisal, Domi fought valiantly in that second game, but Eki, my goodness, the dagger with seconds to spare.
It's funny, it's Andre Vasilevsky coming up with that big save at the end. He said he originally drafted Marc-Andre Fleury, who lost 3 games for him in his pre-build-up to this. He said, I'm going with Vasilevsky instead. Vasilevsky came through with 2 big saves in that period, one leading to the winning goal, one saving that 2-1 win. Unbelievable action back and forth in that third period, guys.
Yeah, that one really could have went either way. We saw a lot of big saves and key moments of this game. Eki, though, he's our guy. He comes in huge when he needs to. 2-1 win with 8 seconds on the clock. He finds some open space. It's unbelievable.
You got to wonder what Eki's thinking right now. A statement like that, 2 consecutive games, that's behind him now. Momentum's on his side.
Well, you had to know what he was thinking when he was down 1-0. It was get the next one and see what happens. Let's take you through the highlights of that game. We just showed you Eki, Domino Inti, Arda. It was crazy, and maybe the most surprising thing was Eki giving up this first goal.
Now, Domino Inti deserved that goal. It was a great shot, one-timer, off wing. You're going to see it a lot in this tournament. Got a lot of fans there. You know, you got to cheer for the underdog sometimes. Eki does have a bullseye on his back. We say that a lot, but that is true because he's the world champ. But that's why he's the world champ right there, Nasher, because he just stays so poised in any situation.
Yep, and especially with seconds remaining, you know he's thinking in his head, okay, this might go to overtime. He didn't want that to happen. He wanted to end this thing before we got there. He didn't want the game on the line with one lucky shot. He's like, I'm going to finish this for myself. Nudavar from the point, 8.4 seconds left.
Well, did you not think he was running out of time in that instance because he was, the seconds seemed ticking and ticking and ticking. He was just holding the puck, but then obviously he knows what he's doing a little more than I do.
Right, we were standing up here, we're like, shoot the puck, Eki, what are you doing? But no, he knows exactly what's going on. He knows when to shoot it, when not to, and of course that paid off for him.
That might have been Eki's version of let's go to overtime. Just kidding!
Yeah. A little disguise there, some mutual love from both sides, and now we got to take a look at the bracket. Our first semifinal is set. Kriketsi, Eki. First 1 to 2 wins in that series. Oh, they're off to Vegas, and based on the first 2 games, it should be fun.
Now, let me tell you, Kriketsi is new to the scene-ish. Eki and Kriketsi were actually teammates many years ago on a Sixes team. They won many games together. They were very familiar with each other. And then Kriketsi left the Chell scene, stopped playing the game, did other things. But then as soon as he saw Eki win the tournament, he said, I used to play with this guy. I think I can do this. And quickly became, Nasher, one of the top players in Europe, deservingly being here, and now he has a chance to take out the world champ.
Yeah, I don't think we've seen a player come up like this. He hadn't played since NHL 14. That was the last game that he had purchased. He actually went out and bought a PS4 for himself, like you said, to come up, not only to be decent at the game, that'd be impressive, to come up and be one of the best. He's shown himself here today. He's going to be facing the best. We'll see how this goes.
All right, and while our next game is getting set up, here is a quick word from one of our sponsors.
Houston, 1977. He disappeared. We can see it again. Coming up on your left. It's coming up closer and closer. There it is. Oh, yeah, beautiful.
Cars like this don't come around often. The Type R, the most powerful Civic ever, from Honda. Official vehicle of the NHL.
It is time for our third quarter final match. Hanselino taking on Sage 95. And yes, their hair may look the same, their facial hair a little bit different. Hanselino, the beard, the intimidation, the poise as well. He's been here before. He knows what to expect.
All right, tell us in the chat who has better hair, Sage or Hanselino. Ignore the beard. Let's just go with the hair. I don't know. It's close, but maybe Hanselino has the edge. I don't know. What do you think, Nasher?
I mean,
I love the hair
it's
here.
hard not to. You can't ignore the beard, right?
I guess you got it. I mean, I don't know. Some people aren't beard fans.
Well, aside from the hair, who has the edge in this game? We know both are good players.
Here's the thing. I found it very interesting that Sage was actually a little bit self-depreciating in a way. Like, he was very happy to be here, but he was almost resigned to the fact that he might lose. Like, he was just very, I might surprise people, but if I lose, it's okay. Meanwhile, Hanselino has a chip on his shoulder. He did not make the finals last year.
Well, let's see what happened in their first game of the series. Let's show you the highlights as they played just a short time ago. It is Hanselino, the Sharks, coming off, no surprise, taking control in the second period with 4 goals. Now, in the third, Sage got one back. Not enough, though. Hanselino, naturally, with a dominant 6-1 win, leading the series 1-0.
Yeah, this is all Hanselino from the beginning. You knew he wanted to get on the board early, especially after going home early last year. He wanted to finish this thing fast, and, of course, getting up 4-0 is a good way to do it, winning this final one 6-1.
Now, most people know Hanselino from last year. Sage 95, however, from Loja, Finland. He finished 4th in the PS4 qualifiers. Favorite team, the Anaheim Ducks. Meet Sage.
My favorite team is Anaheim Ducks, and at this moment, my favorite player is Ryan Getzlaf. And the way he plays is just so good, and he's the best captain I've ever seen. Qualifying to Vegas would be a big thing for me, and it will change my future for sure, and I will put big effort to this game in the future.
Well, he needs to put a big effort into Game 2. Down 1-0 in the series after a 6-1 opening game loss. Let's start the second game of the series between Hanselino and Sage 95.
Here's what Sage had to say about Hanselino. We asked every player to give a thought. What's the first thing that comes to mind when you think of a certain player? And we said the name Hanselino, and Sage said, barbarian.
Barbarian. That is fitting in many ways, both to his gameplay and his physical looks, of course.
Definitely. Meanwhile, Hanselino said of Sage, he's a very kind person. They haven't played much. They're pretty much 50-50 when they play each other. But that first game would indicate anything but. Hanselino certainly has a chip on his shoulder, however. I mentioned this before. He was very disappointed. He was sad. The word used was sad, watching the grand finals from home. He did not like that feeling. He was even more motivated to qualify again this year, as we know, one of the 3 to repeat qualification here in the European regional finals. And he's very, very proud of that, Nasher. As we get to game number 2, of course, Hanselino won game number 1 by a score of 6-1. Sage in the Ducks uniforms. Already a breakaway. And that will be your first goal right there. Hanselino making a statement with Connor McDavid in game number 2.
You have got to be kidding me. What happened there? A 2-on-0 off the get-go. Looks like the speed of McDavid was a little bit too much. Him being a 97 speed rating, one of the fastest in the game, the fastest in this tournament by a margin of 4.
So let's talk about how much better Connor McDavid is from the rest of the pack. The only thing that has remained the same from every draft in Canada, in the USA, and here in Europe is that Connor McDavid went first overall. Why is Connor McDavid the best player in this game?
So Connor McDavid in this draft, 94 overall. His speed, 97. The next highest speed in this entire tournament, 93. So to have the first pick and have the chance to get Connor McDavid, he's going to be above and beyond faster than anyone in this tournament. And you're going to see Hanselino obviously doing that, getting speed, going into the zone, and of course scoring his first goal.
Sage looking for the equalizer here with Weber at the point. Will dance into the hash marks. No surprise that Hanselino's captain is McDavid. Backstrom and Carlson are his assistants. We would have been Brent Burns probably as his other assistant had Kriketsi not stolen Brent Burns from him in the pick before. He was going to pick Brent Burns, which is a funny story between them. Skating backwards towards the offensive zone is Sage with the Ducks. A nice West Coast matchup here in the NHL GWC.
Another good point to mention, Sage, his favorite player you heard is Getzlaf. He decided to pick him first in the entire tournament. Debatably, not the best player up for grabs when he was up in his draft. He went with him anyways. He obviously went with the Ducks. He's a big fan, and I think that mentality, he just wanted his favorite player on his team. He thinks he can play better with him.
Sage has mentioned that he's only been to a few local tournaments, nothing like this of the magnitude of the GWC. He has no accolades to his name yet, but he is looking to change that here.
He was one win away from qualifying last year, so obviously the chance to get here, to make it here. He's excited for the chance. Again, we mentioned earlier, he is a bit too humble in the fact that he almost thought he was going to lose, but we'll see if he can fight back and win this one.
Looking for goal number 2 is Hanselino. And when we asked all the other competitors about Hanselino, experience and legendary status came up a lot. The fact that he is a multiple-time Finnish champion. Misses the net, does Sage. Kopitar still has it there. Hanselino has an immense amount of respect from, at the very least, the Finnish community, but definitely from the Chell community as a whole.
Yeah, his talents in this game are unbelievable. He ended up buying an Xbox to qualify for this. Went 100-0.
And scores his second goal right there.
Yep, talking about his record there. 100-0 in Xbox-ranked divisions, and that's the reason why. You can see he has a superstition. Every single goal, he grabs his towel, washes off his hands, gets ready to go for the next one.
Hockey player superstitious? No. That never happens. Come on. Sage is left thinking about what to do here. Will the game plan change? Will there be any lineup changes to the lines? Because something needs to happen here for him to get back into this game. Speaking of changes, Hanselino, a big life change, got married in the past year from the last GWC to this one. We asked him how married life was, and Hanselino said, married life is easy. Said no husband ever.
Not your typical answer. Hanselino, obviously a good guy. Must do well in marriage as well.
Yeah, good for him.
Talking about Hanselino's draft here, he actually did have a pretty unique draft compared to other teams. He decided to go heavily on lefties. I believe he only had 6 righties on his entire team. And in this game, we mentioned having that opposite wing on the left side, having that righty on the left side for the one-handers is so crucial. He decided, hey, my 4th line, it's all lefties. So we'll see, especially in these later games, that might come to affect him. He won't be able to set up as many good chances with that line.
In fact, Hanselino also has more players with a synergy activated on the roster. Let's get into synergies just a little bit here. Sage has 13, meanwhile, Hanselino has 17. What about, it seemed like players were drafting more in terms of who the best available players were in the draft, but just talk a little bit about synergies and how they could possibly help a player's roster in this tournament.
Yeah, the thing about synergies, especially in this case, there were no team synergies, which are the biggest part of Hockey Ultimate Team. You aim to get that team synergy so every single player on the team is affected by it. In this one, it's only affecting players, and you need at least 4, some need 5, to get that synergy. So, in essence, a lot of these guys decided, hey, I'm just just going to draft the best overall. If I happen to be able to get the synergies and get that +3, +3 speed, +3 wrist shot accuracy, whatever the case may be, they'd go for it. For most of the guys, it wasn't their key intention.
The skating speedster synergy, which is also attached to Connor McDavid, is activated on Hanselino's roster, so Connor McDavid becomes even faster.
Yeah, he actually does become a 99 speed.
And there's a goal. Wait, hold the phone. Sage finally gets on the board.
Sage bouncing back, little smile on his face. Okay. He's getting into his zone. Finally got a goal on the board. Maybe this will help him out, grab some momentum, and let's get back into this thing.
Talking back and forth a little bit about it, as if almost to say, let's have a look at this replay here. A shot from the point. I don't think Dubnyk saw it at all, so it might have been just a goal that neither of them sort of expected to go in. A shot from the point. Hey, Eki did it in the last game. Seeing shots from the point go in.
Yeah, there wasn't a huge screen on that one. I'm surprised it went through. Also, I'm surprised we haven't seen as much manual goalie, especially in warm-ups. We saw these guys controlling their goalies, even on those shots from the point, which you wouldn't expect. We'll see if maybe with these goals going in, they'll switch up the strategies and start controlling them a little bit more.
So Sage is the Anaheim Ducks. Ryan Getzlaf is his only Duck on the roster. And is also his captain on the roster, and it's good because he's 2-1 right now, and he needs more goals.
It looked as if he'd go out of that period down 2-0 without a goal again, but maybe, just maybe, a lifeline for him. He needs to win this game to Sage to have any chance of staying in this Gaming World Championship. Hanselino had a bit of a shocked look on his face when he gave up a goal. We'll see, guys, what the second period brings.
Sage has the most amount of teams represented on his roster in this tournament. With 20 NHL teams, that's the most in Europe. He drafted his goaltender, Connor Hellebuck, in the 8th round. Among the higher rounds drafted, goaltender was drafted in this regional draft, looking for that pasta one-timer, didn't get it. Larkin has it now. And this is important now. He's down by 1 in the second period. Plenty of time to try and get back into this game. His tournament life is on the line. Hanselino needs one more win, then he will go to the semifinals. Here's Larkin. Larkin to Pasternak. He scores, ties it up. That was a beauty.
Yeah, setting up nice plays. Sage is getting back into his game. He was a little bit strung up there at the beginning. Hanselino obviously getting on the board early, that goal within the first 30 seconds. But he's back. Sage on the move, and now we are tied at 2.
Talking about teams, in fact, Sage has said that other than his own team, which he does like from the regional draft, let's take a look at this highlight one more time. Just a beautiful, sure, flap the birds, why not? For a goal like that, Pasta makes it look easy as the game is tied at 2. He loves Hanselino's roster, does Sage, as well, saying with the McDavid and Dubnyk in net combo, he just loves what Hanselino's roster has to bring, and many players said that in this tournament, that Hanselino has a very desirable roster, and that one will go off the iron. 20 of, I should correct myself, 20 of 23 of the 23 skaters in Sage's roster are synergy activated. So he is the most, the player that paid attention the most to synergies was Sage in this entire tournament. You got to wonder whether that's going to help him. Here's Spurgeon at the point for Sage. Sage back to the point, nobody there. Puck will go all the way back into his own zone and chase after it now. Collision, Spurgeon he's pinned up against the boards. Loses it. In a bad position, a save there. Looking for that wraparound was Hanselino, but a breakout instead for Sage. Toffoli, a 2-on-1 brewing here. Loses it, though, and Mantha collects it. Mantha of the Detroit Red Wings, just like our Carly Johnston.
Did you see that there? Sage actually went with the manual goalie on just a regular wrist shot. It's not very often, especially when you're playing just random guys online. No one's going to do that. That is a very small detail. You wouldn't notice it unless you're really, really looking for it. Sage might have got scored on there, decided to make the save himself, and it got the job done.
Toffoli has the puck there. DeZingle misses the one-timer. He did mention that he uses manual goalie a lot in unorthodox situations that you wouldn't normally see an elite level player use it. But he uses it almost exclusively. He said there's a delay penalty on this call. It will be on Sage, but Hanselino will protect that puck. Possible two penalties there. We'll have to wait and see. Oh, he scores! Hanselino breaks the deadlock. It's 3-2 on the delay penalty.
Wow, Sage actually let the goalie behind the net. I think he was going for a wraparound. Besides the control of the goalie, I'm not sure he ever actually got back in the position. That one-timer came across quickly, and unfortunately wasn't able to make the save. Hanselino taking the 3-2 lead.
I'm very happy with that goal. You take a look at it one more time. Creating that space, especially with that sixth attacker on, with the delayed penalty. Sage reflecting. Right now, that was an issue with the tally. 3-2 with 7 minutes and 30 seconds to go in the second period. Hanselino leading the series. 1-0. There's Mika's advantage. Back to Chris Kreider. Teammates in the NHL and teammates here in a different uniform.
Hanselino, you're going to notice one of the best L2 players in this game. You skate backwards and open up space, a lot of creativity. He's doing it pretty much every time he enters the zone. He'll turn his back, try to trip up his opponent, and you can see it starting to affect Sage, taking another penalty.
As we know from last year's tournament, many of these competitors are friends outside. Many of them became friends because of Chell, and it's often lonely at the top, at that elite level, when you are that good at a certain thing, especially at NHL19, particularly in Europe. There are very few off the iron there for Hanselino, very few competitors that you can really practice against, and he sure has it again. For Hanselino, in a bad position to pitch at, but Hellebuyck able to get in position there. Gallagher now trying to get out of his zone, but won't. Kopitar has it though now out of the zone. Looking to dangle past Walt. The window doesn't work in that instance. Back comes Hischier to Ben. Jamie Benn has it, and a possible Zibanejad with a clear, looking for the one-hander, doesn't get it though. Hellebuyck makes the save. Oh, and a poor giveaway there by the goaltender. Back to Hanselino, who will say thank you very much and continue with possession. And there's that L2 you were talking about there.
Yeah, he's crazy. As he goes across the middle there, you see him just spamming it back and forth. It's so hard to follow where he's going to go.
From the point, winds up, doesn't take the shot. McDavid scores! A 1-T after the ballerina in the offensive zone.
The #1 pick coming in huge. We saw the goal early in this game. He came back, he did it again. And that one is partially on Sage. He decided to throw the puck out instead of freezing it for a whistle and never got the puck back. Hanselino all over the zone. Very, very patient. Sets up a good one-timer. Players in this tournament mentioned that Sage makes that mistake constantly. Instead of freezing it, he throws it out. There's one instance already, and that could very well cost him this tournament.
Face-off won by Sage. He did pick two big centers in the regional draft. First, as he looks for an opening there, almost had it right at the doorstep. Costa's at the doorstep, still looking for that one-timer. Getzlaf with seconds to spare in the second period. A big 2-goal lead for Hanselino. Going into the third period, he might have a couple seconds to add to it. A save by Hellebuyck as time expires.
The period started well for Sage, getting him back in this game, tying it at 2, but all Hanselino late. 2 more goals to put himself up 4-2, just a period away from moving on. Sage has everything to play for in this third period.
Both of them actually drafted centers in the 1 and 2 spots. Kopitar and Getzlaf for Sage, and McDavid, of course, and Backstrom for Hanselino. The third period is underway. Sage wins the face-off, winning in the face-off department in this entire game. A little bit of L2 for him there as well. There's Shea Weber at the point. Weber will pass it to Hedman, will make it through, but a bad save by Dubnyk. Dubnyk will cover up, and instead Carlson will get the puck. Here's Kreider. to Connor. Mika Zibanejad crunched, gives away the puck. A poke check won't do it. Protecting the puck well to Larkin. Saved by Dubnyk. Still has it, Larkin again with the one-timer. Dubnyk swats it away. Zibanejad has it. Here's to Kreider now. Into the neutral zone. McDavid. 97's got it. Spinning around. Remember, that speed synergy adds to the already speediest player in the game. Just nothing seems to be working defensively to Sage right now against McDavid.
99 speed, good hands as well. This guy's not letting go of the puck. Sage has got to get more aggressive here if he wants to get this off him. He's going to be running out of time. Finally gets it off him. Good chance there by Hanselino. He just can't get the puck.
And he was looking for that one-timer. You can tell that Sage is keeping his manually controlled defender in front of the net there. And that almost was an own goal. He's got to be more careful distributing the puck with his goaltender.
We mentioned it earlier. He already cost himself one goal. Does it again. It just goes inches by the goal line.
On the flip side of the coin, though, he's got to throw everything at Hanselino right now. He only has 11 minutes and change to get back into this game. Otherwise, he's going home. And Hanselino, with the experience factor on his side, knows exactly what to do in this kind of situation. And he has felt pain of failure at this tournament last year.
You know Hanselino's just going to take his time here. As we saw, he's just walking around the zone with McDavid. We might see him even call a timeout to get McDavid back on the ice so he can continue to do that for the last 10 minutes.
Behind the net is Hanselino. Hanselino just dancing with the puck. Sage does not have an answer to Hanselino's possession in the offensive zone right now. It's almost like he's trying to play copycat with his offensive prowess. But he's going to work on that defense as well. Here's Chara at the point. Chara dances through. Almost had a shot clear there. There's DeBrincat to Skinner. Skinner still has the puck. To Spurgeon at the point. Almost loses it. Spurgeon able to get away. Almost created some space. Great defensive play by Hanselino.
Hanselino playing perfect defense all around. Finding the lanes, and even when he gets his chance, he has some open space. He just does a skill-based check, finds the lane, gets a stick on it, and no good shots are getting to the net.
There's big Dustin Buffalo. Players definitely wanted to draft larger defensemen that can move. Dustin Buffalo certainly fits that category. Hanselino happy to have him on his team. Hanselino, Burns, Shell. Must throw that out there. Skating backwards across the blue line. Save with 2 minutes and 30 seconds to go. Needs 2 goals to continue on to force this to a game 3. Here's Spurgeon now. Beautiful check on Hanselino. Every time you get a chance, he's tying on players. There's right. Getting sticks on the puck. It's really incredible to see. The battle there, one by Spurgeon. Only a minute left, though. What can he pull off here? Looks for the shot, doesn't get good. DeZingle had it there for a second in great position, but instead, it's going to be Hanselino bringing it forward. We'll dump the puck. There's Nag. McNabb has it. Instead, it'll be given away. Hanselino looks for the flip. A cheeky opportunity there. Halabov has it, though, and gives it away. Again, another goaltender gap. With 30 seconds to go. Sage, what can he do? Bring it to Kachuk. Kachuk, first time touching the puck in this game. At the point, takes the shot. Oh, Kachuk batted it out of the air, and it hits the iron. 15 seconds to go. To bring it. DeZingle misses the one-time. And it looks like that will be it. Hanselino will move on in this tournament. But to say this credit, he said, the biggest game is played in his head. It's tough to focus and not get rattled. Hanselino certainly took him off his game, but he said, I won't be sad if I lose. I'm proud to have qualified.
Yeah, really, you can't be mad with how Sage played here. He was down 2 in this game. He fought back, tied it up at 2. Unfortunately, Hanselino on the offense and picture-perfect defense was too much to match.
All right, I want to talk a little bit more about L2, because, for the casual fan watching it might know the impact that we saw it make a huge difference there. Now maybe talking through what that does and why it was such a big factor there for Angelino.
Yeah, L2 the way to really get creative in this game when you back skate, especially when you're entering the zone. It's really tough to find that space. You'll see those bone country hits, you'll see the poke check. L2 is kind of where we prevent people from doing that. Angelino, instead of trying to force bad passes across the middle, he uses L2 a lot. He'll go behind the net, he'll do what he needs to do to find that space.
I'll show you an example of L2 right here. This is in slow motion.
Alright, let's get some highlights from that game. We'll see it actually effectively used by one of our players. And here again, we said about we know he needed to come out strong because he was the one down, but it was Connor McDavid who was the player in this game making the difference in the start for him.
A really good point about timeout match. I really wonder how much ice time Connor McDavid is seeing for Angelino in this entire finals, because you could tell Connor McDavid was such a difference in this game. He had that puck a lot, but he was almost untouchable in this.
Yeah, that's a good Angelino style. Going into the zone, using the back skate quite a bit. He's able to do that just superbly with Connor McDavid. So I think we will see him try to call timeouts, especially in those dire moments towards the end of the game. And again, he just set up perfect plays, create space. He's perfectly patient. He's a great player. We'll see him go far in this tournament.
Well, we know for sure he's moving on to one more round at the very least. Very similar situation for him having done that last year. We see the handshake between the two players. Two very different players in terms of, again, size, but two very different players in that one is going on, one is not. There's the first one in the bottom half of the bracket, and he is standing by with our Carly Johnston in the Honda Road, the finals area. Carly.
Thanks, guys. I'm here with the winner, Angelino. So you had a better start this year than last year. Do you think it's because of your all-star lineup, or are you just that much better than last year?
I think both will be good for me because maybe it's overpowered, but I think my game style is different than last year. I think it's better.
So next up, as you advance, you're either going to play Playmaker or figure out what's it going to take for you to get that win and make it to Las Vegas.
I think it's going to be the Playmaker. He was here last year and he was almost going to Vegas, but we got some tough games against Arthur, but this year will be different. I think I have a chance against Playmaker. He's good, young star. I'm old, very burns, but I think it's going to be a tough game. Maybe game 3 is going to be like for me a winner.
Alright, last question. I heard you during the game chirping Sage. Do you like to keep it fun while you're playing?
Of course, that's what gaming is for. Having fun.
Alright, thanks so much. Good luck. Looking forward to seeing you play. Guys, back to you.
All right, thank you very much, Carly. It is time now for our last quarter-final match. And Angelino Playmaker might be the one getting through who's taking on Super Verta. Listen, they had some kind words for each other as well, but maybe some subtle shots at the other person's game as well. Playmaker saying Super Verta's defense maybe not that great. He's going to be trying to take advantage of that. Your thoughts, guys, on this matchup?
I will say this, from the return to take a look at the head-to-head matchup. Super Verta very known in Finland to be a prominent Chelsea streamer. In fact, a lot of the other competitors in this tournament love watching him on stream. And his dog. We'll get to the dog a little bit, very famous here in Finland and Chelsea. But as you look at the head-to-head here, Playmaker is winning in a lot of key categories. They do the same goals per game, a little bit less goals against average, but that face-off is going to be key. Playmaker loves the face-off, so that's going to be a key part of his offense.
Yeah, both of these guys are very offensive-minded players. This is the defined Playmaker as deadly. His offense just continues to push. He won't let you touch the puck. He'll go around the zone similar to what we saw Angelino do last game. We can expect to see a lot of that here.
All right, just a short time ago, they played their first game in the series. Here's a look at some of those highlights. Game 1, always important one. Playmaker with a fantastic start, guys. Maybe what was our best game of game 1. 4 goals in the first period. He thought Super Bears down. He was on 3 goals in the second. Ultimately, we get control and Asher go on to win 6-3. Leads 3-1.
Yeah, that shows a lot of super that he didn't give up. Being down 4-0 and being like this is tough to bounce back. He almost made his way there, getting up to 4-3, unfortunately not enough to beat Plea in this one, who takes it 6-3.
All right, Super Verta is from Turku, Finland. He finished third in the Xbox qualifier. He likes to use a creative play style to fool his opponents. Here's a deeper look at Super Verta.
I would say that I am okay with defense. I should get better at that. One offensive is my goal right now in the game. One big deal that can separate me from the other guys is that I use a lot of like one goalie. That's the game. I'm gonna very good in that so that save me some goals that normally would go in when I take the game and control that.
Well, he simulated with that mask on. Needs his goalie to be doing better than the one in game one that gave up 6 goals. Let's see what happens to start game 2 of the series between Playmaker and Super Verta.
Playmaker as the Tampa Bay Lightning, Super Verta as the Montreal Canadiens. And Playmaker said Super Verta is a new guy. His offense been pretty good. His defense isn't that great, but he's a great guy. He loves to watch his streams. Meanwhile, this is what Super Verta had to say about Playmaker. He's very talented. He's a young gun. He's very dangerous. Lots of goals. Every time he has the puck, I think of the worst case scenario Nasher because he's very tough to play against.
Yeah, it's unbelievable what he can do, especially in this game. It's tough to really find space to be creative, but please somehow find a way to do it. We're going to see some beauty goals in this game, and I imagine they may come very early if last game is an indicator.
Yeah, one word to describe this matchup could very well be fireworks. We shall see. There's Ovechkin. Speaking of fireworks, Ovechkin and Tarasenko on the same line. How about that? That screams fireworks to begin with for Playmaker in the white Tampa Bay Lightning jerseys, as Playmaker has it here. What a statement made by the returning players, by the way. All of them scoring 6 goals in game number 1 of their first series.
Yeah, not just winning series. These guys are putting up large amounts of goals, and they're doing it quickly. Plea obviously going to want to get on the board very fast and maybe gain a huge lead like he did in the last game.
We're talking about Super Verta. Of course, he's a prominent streamer. I think the star of his stream, however, is his dog Pavo, who is a little Yorkshire Terrier. I think weighs about 2 pounds. The hashtag to use, because I believe that if Super Verta makes it to Vegas, Pavo is going with him. So hashtag Pavo to Vegas is what his fans are using in order to inspire Verta to bring Pavo. Super Verta's father is a head coach in the Finnish league with Lukka. Hockey is in his blood. He has been surrounded by hockey his entire life. And you can say the same about Playmaker as well. He lives, breathes, and eats hockey, the Tampa Bay Lightning, and also NHL. Last year, we were saying the same thing about Playmaker, that he's the young gun. Everyone is pointing to him to be the next big star of European NHL and really compete at that world stage. We're saying the same things here again, Nasher.
Yeah, absolutely. And he lost last year to Eki in overtime. So thinking about what could have been, he had that on his mind, especially going into this tournament. He knew, I was this close to knocking Eki out of the tournament, to going on myself, and unfortunately he couldn't done. So he's hoping to do that here today.
Martinez for Playmaker behind the goal line, met by 3 Habs jerseys. And it'll be Verta with the puck across the blue line. A pass to nowhere. Pettersson will collect it for Plea. Eberle. Pettersson has it again to Niederreiter. Niederreiter, nice evasion there, has 2 options. Lindholm will score. The Playmaker gets on the board first.
Wow, incredible creativity from Plea early. You saw the spin right around the blue line. We talked about those bone-crunching hits. They can really make or break your game. There, he missed the hit, gave Plea a good opportunity on the 2-on-1, and of course, we know Plea, he's gonna bury.
Playmaker's captain on his squad is Sean Couturier, who centers that first line with Ovi and Tarasenko. His assistant captains are Alexander Ovechkin and Brian Boyle. A big sentimental pick there, of course. Hashtag Boyle strong. But the reason he didn't make Ovechkin his captain is because he's a Lightning fan. He doesn't like Ovechkin that much in real life. maybe resents Ovechkin a little bit being on the Capitals and on the Lightning, but hey, he's too good to pass up.
Right, you know he's not mad that he has Ovechkin on his team. And we talked to Plea before the series. He said he plans on scoring 5+ goals every game. I asked him, even against these elite guys that you're facing in this tournament, he said yes. 5+ goals is his goal, and he's hoping to do it. He did it in his first game. We'll see if he can do it again.
So how well will that serve him in the tournament when he admits something like that? It's one of his goals to score 6 goals, 7 goals against your opponent.
I mean, people know this guy, right? Please, he was here last year. He put up a lot of goals. He's one of the most creative players that we've seen in this tournament. His first goal, obviously, a very nice L2 at the blue line. He's going to be trying to get creative, do some very strange things that we haven't seen him show very often. And, of course, I think it will pay off for him.
Trickling past the goal was that shot by Playmaker. I mentioned it in the European Regional Finals preview over at NHL.com that Playmaker loves this game and the community so much. Eki qualified, of course. Here's an opportunity for Virta. We'll miss it there. He decided to join Eki on the trip to Las Vegas, the 15.5-hour flight, and just to make a good impression, they both wore 3-piece suits on the flight. Didn't change when they landed. They wore those suits on the flight, and they showed up in the lobby of the hotel. NHL executives everywhere, shaking hands, making one heck of a first impression.
And it shows a lot about Pleas because he wasn't even in the tournament. To go there in a suit on a 15-hour flight, this guy, he's the real deal. He's a big supporter of Eki, obviously wishes him the best as well. And his dream would be for both of them to make it to Vegas. Obviously, being on opposite sides of the bracket, there's a chance that both him and Eki will move on.
Yeah, dream scenario for those two best friends if both of them are able to win their respective games, meet in the final, and see what happens there. There's Kucherov for Virta, doesn't make it through. So Playmaker has a 1-0 lead on the last seconds of this first period. There's Boyle to DeBrusque. Virtanen will lose the puck. There's Virta with 4 seconds to go with Sasha Barkov. And that will be all.
So Playmaker's style, not just in his suits, we saw it on the ice as well, especially in the build-up to that first goal, the goal that has him ahead of Super Virta in this game, 1-0. Still some work to do if he wants to get the 5, but if you're Super Virta, you're probably happy to have only conceded 1 after giving up 4 in the first period in game 1. It was a big second that put Super Virta back in that first game. Let's see how he does in the second of game 2.
Your goaltenders in this game for Virta, it's Braden Holtby, and for Playmaker is Sergei Bobrovsky. Both of them selected in the 8th and 9th rounds of the draft by both of these players respectively. There's the captain Couturier now. Couturier across the blue line, dancing around. There's that L2 we were talking about there. Try and evade. Oh, looking for that cheeky wraparound.
He went for a fake wraparound on the left side, cut it back to the right side using L2, using a little spin. We'll see that a lot from Plea. He likes to work behind the net.
Playmaker representing the Tampa Bay Lightning actually has no Lightning players on his squad, however. Meanwhile, Super Virta does have 3 Montreal Canadiens players. He has Philippe Deneau, Jesperi Kotkaniemi, and Joel Armia. Second period, 16:40 left to go. Playmaker enjoying a 1-0 lead and also a 1-0 lead in this best-of-3 series. Lindholm in front of the net will get pushed away. Pettersson has it. Looking for that one-timer there, doesn't get it. There's Brock Besser now for Virta. Rantanen has it. Back to Zaitsev, Nikita Zaitsev. Ekholm to Lindholm, to Niederreiter. Niederreiter back skating with the puck. Will make it past the blue line. There's Pettersson. Pettersson to Martinez at the point, misses the net. Draisaitl doesn't get to the puck, collects it anyway. Ali pass to Rantanen. Dancing around, a great to Besser. The one-hand top. Oh, he had it in position too naturally.
Look at the smile on Super's face. He's fancy. He knows he wants to go for the one-hander, especially when he gets any sort of open space on the break. Unfortunately, couldn't get it to go.
Super Virta does say his offense is greater than his defense. He likes to try and keep the puck away from his opponent. He's the one that described himself as the ballerina style of hockey, so that L2 will be in full force in this one.
Yeah, both of these guys going head-to-head with the creativity. We saw Super already attempt a one-hander. We saw a nice goal from Plea. A couple good opportunities from both of these guys.
Super Virta from Turku, Finland. The home of Saku Koivu, legendary Montreal Canadiens player, as he misses the net there. Also a player that you will hear a lot in the NHL, I'm sure, for years to come. A gentleman by the name of Kaapo Kakko. Where will he be drafted in this year's NHL draft? Eberle has it now. If you were to ask Super Virta, by the way, he would rather see Kakko in a Rangers uniform over a Devils uniform. That's just his personal preference. That's Playmaker's mother right there looking on. A lot of support from the family and friends. We noticed a lot of people joining the competitors here this weekend in Stockholm. Always great to see. You love to see it, Nasher.
Yeah, of course.
There's Hagelin. Eberle has it. Hagelin at the doorstep and has it again. Another opportunity. Deneau. To Hagelin again. Hagelin is really being funneled for the offense in this rush.
Super shaking his head at that one. He had 3-4 good opportunities. He's had a breakaway with the one-hander. Lots of good chances, but he can't get anything to go right now.
Let me ask you this. We are seeing the back skate a lot, and it is being very effective here. How do you defend against that? It scores! Hold the phone. Playmaker makes it 2-0.
Wow. Super, look at the shrug on his shoulders there. He's like, yeah, that's a nice goal from Plea. Plea with the deadly offense. We said he's one of the most aggressive players in this tournament when it comes to his offense, and there we see his mother on the screen proudly supporting her son.
And of course, it's Ovi that scores the second goal. He's got the two possibly best sniping wingers in the game, and Tarasenko and Ovechkin, definitely top 5.
Yeah, that first line that he has is just deadly. And you gotta love Super's attitude about this thing. He's just happy to be here. You could see on his face, you know what, Plea? That's a good play. He's not angry. You can see he still is in his zone. He's gonna come back fighting, as we saw in the last game.
How about this right here? Kucherov has it. Now Kucherov taking a shot. No, the 5-hole was denied. Save there for Playmaker. Let's go back to the back skate. I was asking you about how to defend that. What is the best way to do that?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough because there's a really tough balance of you have to be patient and kind of just let them do their thing. But then we see guys that'll just go in the corner and kind of just wait it out a little bit. So it's tough. You got to decide, hey, at some point you got to be aggressive. You got to go for the hit. You got to go for the big poke. But that also is the time in which the other guy's going to have a chance to get around you. And there we see Plea being extremely creative, going into there with the L2, and that results in a trip.
So that was exactly how you described the dangers of why the back skate is so effective.
Right.
Drawing the penalty, excellent, particularly when the poke check is used.
Yeah, excuse me, that was Plea that actually took the penalty there, so Super going on the power play. We'll see if he can get anything set up here.
Well, this is the opportunity needed. Oh, there with seconds to spare in the second period, missing that one-timer. Still has the puck, though. Time for maybe one more chance. Wilson has it, looking for that Draisaitl one-timer. Won't find it, though. Ekholm, clock ticks away. And yes, it will be 2-0 at the end of the set.
So just like in the first, Playmaker getting one, and it was a beauty at that as well. Look, Super wants to take his dog to Vegas. Well, he's got 1 period left to get back in this series, down 2-0 in this game, 1-0 in the best of 3. 1 period to go in this game.
Hashtag Pavo to Vegas if you're a fan of Super Virta. Now's the time to throw that in the chat. It's his emote, it's his logo. He also mentioned that he loves to take Pavo out on the town, but hold the phone. It's Playmaker making sure that Pavo will not get to Vegas. It's 3-0.
Man, Plea is just unreal. It looked like he was going to make the pass over to the other side. He had a guy streaking to the net. But no, instead, he decides to take the shot short side. Not the best opportunity, but it got the job done, and it gives him a huge lead in this game.
Mom is happy. Playmaker fans are happy, certainly living up to that billing of being the heir of European CHL competition. Incredible.
This first line for Plea is just coming in huge. You've got Ovechko, you got Couturier, you got Tarasenko, having those three guys available pretty much every time he has a good opportunity. He throws it on net and it's finding its way in.
How interesting is it that all three returning players, Hanselino, Eki, and Playmaker, are making such big statements in their first series? It's as if they want this to be recognized as a tournament of 3 rather than a tournament of 8.
Yeah, we know that those guys are unreal. They obviously qualified 2 years in a row, and just to get it straight, this is not an easy tournament to qualify. There's tens of thousands of players that enter this thing. We've dwindled it down to 8 here in Europe, and we have 3 of the same guys. They came to put on a show, and they've certainly given it all for us here.
You have to have gone on a considerable winning streak in order to qualify for any regional, and you mentioned it, tens of thousands of people. Every single eligible European country was represented in qualifying.
And the fact that we have 7 Finnish guys, it shows a lot about their country and how prideful they are with hockey, with the game of CHL. These guys absolutely live and die for this thing. They put in hours upon hours every single day, and we can see it paying off.
I mean, can you imagine the pride that they have right now? 7 Finnish players competing in this tournament. One of them, of course, guaranteed to go. There will be one Finn at least going to, well, no, actually, with Ireland out of the tournament, there will be 2 Finns going. That is a point of pride. Last year we saw it as well. As soon as, even when a player was eliminated, they'd back their player. Delayed penalty here. And it will be a power play. So Super Virta with a little bit of life here. It's 12:58 left in the third period. But that is a huge point of pride. To put Finland on the map in the way that Eki did last year, people are definitely talking about that.
And now Super's chance to finally bounce back. He's been throwing pretty much everything he can at the net, unfortunately not able to get anything to go. He's going to have to get a goal here early and maybe draw some more penalties to even have a chance to bounce back at this thing.
Down 3-0 Virta with Ekholm now. Looking for a shot, can't find one. Barkov has it for Virta. L2. Ekholm almost went offside, but kept it in the offensive zone. Kucherov with a golden opportunity, and a huge one-time opportunity. A big save there. Barkov has it again. Looking for Marner there, can't find him. Wow, 2 big chances for Virta, but closing the door for Playmaker is Sergei Bobrovsky.
I think Super's got to be confused right now. With the chances that he's had, it's not just one chance. He usually gets 3 good chances in a row whenever he has a good opportunity, and none of them will go. Bob playing his game, and he finally got on the board.
No one-timer there, just takes the shot this time, and it gets through.
Kucherov with the goal, finally found a little bit of space, and Plea decided not to go with the main goalie, left it to the AI. That one goes into the top right corner.
Hey, look, miracles can happen. In game number 1, Playmaker was up 4-0, and Super Virta came back with 3 unanswered goals to bring it within 1. Can that happen here? It's going to have to happen if he wants to continue on and push this to a game 3.
You know he's breathing a sigh of relief. He just had to get that first one. Maybe the floodgates will open up. Maybe Bob will let in a couple soft goals. We need something to get Super back into this game, and that is exactly what we just had. He still has 9 minutes, plenty of time on the clock. We'll see if he can get back into this thing.
And this is where you got to focus on Playmaker and that youth. You got to wonder. He has been competing for a long time now, and he has been at this stage before. But we saw it in game number 1. Even with a substantial lead, we do see a little crack in the armor at times. And so another opportunity there for Super Virta. So you got to wonder whether or not Playmaker can stay composed and keep the lead in a situation like this.
I think he's going to be thinking back to that first game where he was down. Well, he was up 4-0, almost ended up giving up that lead. He's going to think, hey, you know what? This is not going to happen again for the rest of this tournament. He's going to do everything that he can to get this thing right. Looks like Plea may be having an issue with his controller. They're going to get that fixed up. Very sportsman-like play from Super to dump it down the ice, get the ice. They were able to get a pause.
Well, we've seen Ple's dominance. He hasn't scored the 5 so far, but the chances are there and the opportunities are there as well. But we saw Super in this period get a couple of them as well. Your reaction, he's coming close. Just how hard is it to come back when an opponent is up that big?
It's very difficult, but for a Super to have been able to do that in game number 1 really shows you the poise that he has. But I also wonder about Playmaker, just more so in the fact that he's still a very young player. He's not like, there's many young players in this tournament, but for Playmaker, we saw he came so close last year, and you got to wonder how that's going to factor in mentally and how much he'll be able to maintain his composure, just like his best buddy Eki is able to do, because that could be still a question mark for Playmaker because we haven't seen him cross that line just yet.
Right, and we're going to see, you know, what's going to happen, especially in these later rounds. Is he going to bounce back? It looks like
he just got a goal there. I believe we're coming back to a goal for Playmaker. So they resumed off camera, and we do have a goal for Playmaker, so he basically told me to shut up.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. It may have been a very fast one right off the draw. Yeah, he tied up off the draw, was able to set up a nice little one-timer. That's Ple's face-off ability. You see it come in, and Tarasenko with a nice goal.
Basically, he probably heard us talking about him, and he said, you want some proof? Here's your proof right here. I'll score a goal and take it out within, possibly without, outside of reach here with 4:30 to go in the third period. Playmaker's leading the series 1-0 and now leading this game 4-1. Might be too much for Super Virta, but you never know. Ovechkin has it, possibly a 5th right here, and it is. Playmaker gets his 5th goal. Ovechkin, you just can't leave him alone like that.
No, it's Ovechkin and Tarasenko. They're just putting on a show out here. Plea, again, you were talking just a couple moments ago. Is he going to do it? Is he going to be able to hold on? And yes, without a doubt, absolutely. The thumbs up from his mom there.
Look,
the support is unreal.
Anytime you get a thumbs up from mom, that's always a good thing. And that's a beauty right there, just over the shoulder of Braden Holtby. And of course, Ovi is going to enjoy the fruits of his labor, even outside of his office. Able to score goals is number 8.
And how about that first line, too? We talk about the difference makers in this game. You know, Ovechkin, Tarasenko, Couturier, his first line. They've come in with, I think, most of the goals in this game, potentially all 5. It has to be at least 4 of them. That's been the difference maker in this one and will help Plea throughout the rest of this tournament.
I mean, Playmaker all but moving on to the next round here. We still have 2 minutes to go in the third period, but my goodness, the next round matchup facing Hanselino, that is a possible final in any tournament, and one of those 2 competitors, Playmaker and Hanselino, one of them is going to have to go home.
Yeah, both competitors last year, both have been on the big stage before. We asked them before, are you nervous going into this thing? They said, no, we were here last year, we know what we're doing, we are prepared this year, and now we're going to see them go head-to-head. Hanselino, Playmaker, this is going to be one of the most exciting matchups in this tournament, aside from the final, of course.
Super Virta certainly disappointed perhaps in this result, but happy with the experience. He said he's very happy to have qualified here, and he's definitely taking his streaming more seriously. And we mentioned a lot of the players, almost the 6th goal there for Playmaker, still has the puck in front of the net. Taking streaming more seriously, does have a full-time job, but rising to prominence in the streaming community, particularly in Scandinavia, is Super Virta.
And it's worth noting, this is actually his first year ever really going competitive. He obviously has been streaming a long time, streams pretty much every single day. This is his first year really. He wanted to sit down, he wanted to grind, he wanted to be one of the best in the game. And making this tournament, he's shown that he is that. He can come back stronger next year and do it yet again.
He did mention to us as well that holding the trophy would be more important. The pride of winning would be more important than the tournament winnings themselves. But he can certainly take pride, like you said, in having qualified for this tournament. A monumental task in itself, but it will be Playmaker moving on to the next round in a heavyweight tilt against Hanselino.
5 goals. He said he wants to score 5 goals a game. That is 2 straight games with at least 5, 11 goals in total in 2 games. And guys, on top of him winning so dominantly, it's been dominant from all, you could say, the favorites so far. None of these original series going beyond the 2-game minimum. Says a lot about what we can expect for the second round. Before we talk about that, I want to talk about this first game because it was Super Verta yesterday who said Playmaker is really skilled with his offensive players, and Nasher, he chose those offensive players pretty early because of his ability to be impactful with them.
Absolutely, and that just shows a lot about Ple's kind of strategy going into this thing. He knows, you know, I'm an offensive-minded guy. He decided to go with the forwards first. That first line, of course, resulting in just every single goal on the ice for his team. Ovechkin coming in huge, Tarasenko. Playmaker knows what he's doing out there. He knows what he's doing with the draft, and it really paid off for him.
Yeah, let's take a look at some of the highlights and, again, focus on the guys who did score those goals because, Arda, it was that big line. You talked about him a lot because they were on the ice a lot and scoring a lot as well.
Yeah, he found immense success. And it was interesting asking Playmaker about his draft because he sort of hesitated and said, you know, if I were to do it again, maybe I wouldn't take Tarasenko in that position. Maybe I would have taken a center. He does have Sean Couturier as he placed the C on his jersey there as Mom watches on in between Tarasenko and Ovechkin. But to me, this worked in spades in this series, Nasher.
Yeah, it's hard to believe. You know, sometimes you get a little bit lucky. He didn't know that he wanted to draft Tarasenko, and he ended up being probably one of the best players in this game aside from Ovechkin. Huge goals all around. Super did put up a good fight. You can see him bouncing back a little bit here, but in the end, Ple's offense was too deadly. He was too much to handle.
And it was that first line, Ovechkin and Tarasenko specifically getting 4 of the 5 goals in this game. Lindholm with the other one, the opening one, to get him through. And there's Mom. The thumbs up means her son is going through. And like you guys said, it sets up a very, very exciting semifinal as these two shake hands and we say goodbye to Super Verta. We say hello to Playmaker, who's going to try once again, but his opponent, Hanselino, is no slouch. That should be fun. And Eki and Kriketsi on the top side. Guys, your thoughts initially on this bracket?
What a clean sweep. Complete 2-0 victories for all of the heavyweights moving on in this tournament. And now you have a Final Four that a lot of people would say is very appropriate. You have the 3 returning regional finalists from 2018. You have Kriketsi, who the other 3 have essentially said that is probably the best, if not them, in this tournament. So you have a very heavy-duty semifinal.
Yeah, and it's unbelievable looking at this. Kriketsi is the guy that just started playing competitively and just got back in NHL for the first time in 5 years. So to see him on the list with Eki, Hanselino, Playmaker, it shows anything's possible in this tournament.
All right, we know it is possible for Playmaker to still go to Vegas. He is through the semifinals. Let's head on over to Carly, standing by with him in the Honda Road to the Finals area.
Thanks, guys. Yep, I'm here with winner Playmaker. I see your mom is here. How awesome is it to have her support?
Well, he's always like excited when I'm playing because he's always watching all my games, like 6 or 6 games when I'm home.
It's great to have your #1 fan here, and your next opponent is Hanselino. Tough opponent. What's it going to take to beat him and make it to Las Vegas this year?
Well, he's a top 3 player in the world, so I have to play my best games this year.
And if you do make it to Las Vegas, I have to ask, are you going to wear a 3-piece suit on the plane again?
Of course.
Last question. I have to ask about your poker face. You keep a straight face the entire game. Is that one of your tactics?
Well, I have seen some crazy comebacks, so I'm not usually reacting before the game's end.
Smart idea. All right. Good luck, Playmaker. Looking forward to watching you play. Guys, back to you.
All business from Plea. Hey, right now we're going to take a quick break, but stay with us because coming up next, a massive semifinal round. Kriketsi versus Eki and Hanselino taking on Playmaker. The winners will both be moving on to Vegas. This is the NHL Gaming World Championship.
Cars like this don't come around often. The Type R, the most powerful Civic ever, from Honda. Official vehicle of the NHL.
What's the difference between good and great? Good treats you like a customer. Great treats you like a friend. From saving your haircut details and clip notes to saving you time with online check-in, Great Clips makes your life easier, just like a great friend should. Great Clips, it's gonna be great. What's the difference between good and great? Good tries to get it right every time. Great actually does. With Clip Notes, we save your haircut details so you always get exactly the look you want. Great clips. It's gonna be great.
Which forward in the NHL is the toughest to defend?
It's almost like he's got a puck attached to a string when he stick handles. Austin Matthews!
What's up?
Tough call, pasta. Large cold brew?
Better make it a medium. I only have 2 minutes.
Hey, ref, check your voicemail. You missed some calls.
Wow, she knows your order?
Yeah, I'm pretty much a regular here.
Where there's hockey, there's Dunkin'. So grab a cold brew for game time. America runs on Dunkin'.
Official partner of the 2019 NHL Gaming World Championship. Bold, refreshing, brisk.
Welcome back to the NHL Gaming World Championship. We are in Stockholm, Sweden for the European Regional Final. The top two players from today will be moving on to Las Vegas. Welcome back inside our studio as well. I am Faisal Kamisa, joined by Arda Okal and Andrew Nasher-Telfer. Favorites, the stories so far, all going through. Let's take a look at our bracket again and show you just how dominant these first four were. All 2-0 sweeps in round one, with none of those first series going to a best of three. Maybe, just maybe, we could see a little bit more drama, Nasher, in this part of the bracket, because all these guys are good.
Yeah, these are big rivalries. Hanselino and Plee, they've played quite a few games together here and there. They're gonna know each other well, especially, playing in the tournament last year. They also know what to expect. We've got, obviously, this game coming up, gonna be huge. Kriketsky, the newer guy of this tournament, Eki, the world champion, going head-to-head. It couldn't be too much different, guys, and it certainly will be some good entertainment for us.
So let's talk about this first semifinal between Kriketsky and Eki. Again, Arda, the winner, is moving on to Vegas.
Yeah, that's right. And imagine the motivation for a guy like Kriketsky, who used to play with Eki on a Sixes team back in 2013, sees him win the championship, was the igniting inspiration to get him to go back into competitive Chell, and he finds himself 300 days later, competing against him now. I mean, this is a storybook situation here. Imagine Kriketsky eliminates the world champ to go to Vegas.
And Nasher, these stats are not too far off. I know the power play numbers are, big, but the sample size is small. Kriketsky can certainly hold his own against Eki, can't he?
Yeah, absolutely. Look at those face-offs, 65%. We're going to see a lot of good opportunities in front, especially on those power plays. If he's able to get a couple decent opportunities, tie up the center, maybe we'll see a couple quick goals like we did in the last game.
All right, take us through these rosters now as well, guys, because they're going to be important in this game, right? The depth of the teams, the draft strategies, we're going to see them come into play, Snapshot, here, and some big guns in this game could make a difference.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy seeing these lineups. Kriketsky with the number 2 pick in the entire draft. Obviously, Sidney Crosby could be that difference maker, especially we saw last game. Ovechkin, Tarasenko, those guys were the difference maker. Maybe Crosby and Hornquist can be the same for him.
Eki's lineup, meanwhile, again, he knows how to play this game. He knows how to utilize this lineup. Austin Matthews was his first pick.
Yeah, Matthews, Scheifele, Aho, and Eichel. Those were his first 4 picks. Now, he has Aho on the right wing there, but he deliberately picked centers. Now, his face-off percentages are not that great right now in the tournament, nor were they in qualification, but he did this specifically to try and give himself the best possible advantage at the face-off dot because he wants that possession as much as possible.
All right, well, enough talk. It is time for Game 1. Kriketsi, Eki, the winner of this series is going on to Vegas. It all starts, though, with the first game. Let's see what happens.
There's Kriketsi. What an opportunity in front of him here. Eki has said that everybody has been sending him messages. Play me a Chell, play me a Chell, play me a Chell. Well, now Kriketsi has the opportunity to eliminate the world champ from this tournament. It will be Kriketsi in the Colorado Avalanche uniforms and Eki in the Leafs uniforms. Kriketsi said of Eki, he's the world champ. He's very hard to beat. He's a nice guy. He loves playing against him. Eki said of Kriketsi, he's the new player. Haven't heard of this guy much since last year, and we were teammates, but he rose up very fast, and he called it impressive. As we're in the first period of game number 1, Faisal mentioned it, the winner goes to Vegas. The loser goes home. Huge matchup right here in the semifinals. Both of them monumental. Has the puck, does Eki. Eki. Eichel to Matthews. The U.S. Express on his roster. Meanwhile, Crosby to Hornquist. Burns from the point. Eki. Great pass to Matthews. Loses it. That will be a penalty.
And here comes Eki early. We saw his power play percent before this game. Very, very strong. It's in the mid-60s. He gets his first power play of the game very early. You know he's going to be going all out to get that first goal on the board.
Both of them deliberating, thinking. The first power play will go to Eki. Eki has been absolutely lethal on the power play. Perfect so far in this tournament. Will that continue? Ristolainen has it for Kriketsi to Little. Nice stick lift there, but Eki able to corral it. There's McAvoy. McAvoy up to Hoffman. Hoffman across the blue line to Stone. Mark Stone still has it. A little dangerous there, but able to get away with it is Kriketsi. Kriketsi has it again into the neutral zone. Lead pass to Pavel Buchnevich. Possibly the first time he's touching the puck in this entire tournament is Pavel Buchnevich for Kriketsi. Eki up to Charlie McAvoy. McAvoy leading the rush in this instance. Little will take it, and that might be costly here as we got a partial break. Oh, Werenski gets back in time. Looking for that one-timer, won't find it, so dodged the bullet there.
One thing we know about Kriketsi, he's very adaptive. He said, you know, it's going to take some time. He'll have to get into his flow. Maybe the first couple periods here, he'll be on a bit of a disadvantage, but once he kind of gets the feel for how Eki plays this game and his style going into this tournament, he'll be able to make some adjustments to get back on top.
McAvoy to Stone. Eki mentioned this was a Hansolino tactic from last year that Eki picked up. Stone has an opportunity here looking for the one-timer attempt. Possibly keeps it in the corner. Back to Scheifele behind the net. Thinking about the wraparound, but instead passes it to Stone. Stone behind the net. To Nudivara at the point. Nudivara almost dances through the defense. Pinned up against the boards. Crosby has it to Hornquist. Hornquist lead pass to Patrick Kane. Patrick Kane for Kriketsi in the Avalanche uniform. Passes it to Theodore. Kane back to Domi. To Kane. Behind the net is Patrick Kane. Max Domi has it now. Kane to Laine. The one-timer doesn't go. Back comes Eki. Pominville. Nice stick lift, gets the puck back in the offensive zone, and it proves to be fruitful. Eki scores with Jason Zucker.
Wow, what a stick lift from Eki. You don't see that very often, especially in the offensive zone. He was able to make a stick lift. That's a game-changing play right there. Easily, he could have just ignored that, decided to sit back. He decided to get extremely aggressive, play a little defense in the offensive zone, and that results in a goal in his favor.
Opens the scoring with 5 minutes left in the first period. Does the world champion a lead pass? And he will get, there will be no call. I thought that might have been a trip there. No, in fact,
not a tripping with the goalie. He decided a manual goal. And you know what Eki was thinking there? He was going to go for the one-hander if he didn't control his goalie. You saw him control it. He tried to wait as long as physically possible on that left side, wrap it around the goaltender. Unfortunately, barely gets a stick on to trip him up.
Goaltender well out of his crease on that play as well, as you saw the lunge.
That's a big flying poke check, as we call it.
I love the flying poke check. I am a big proponent, I will say. It never works for me, but that's fine. Here's Kriketsi with the puck in the offensive zone. And again, Eki able on the counterattack, looking for that pass, won't find it there, but another drawing of a penalty.
This is all Eki right now. These stick lifts are coming in huge. He's doing it in the offensive zone and the defensive. That one was sitting on the blue line, almost a keep-in by Kriketsi. Unfortunately, not enough, and that's going to lead us to another golden power play opportunity for Eki.
2 minutes for tripping. Time of the penalty.
As soon as Kriketsi decided to play competitive Chell again, he ended up winning a local tournament early on in his tenure, and that motivated him to continue grinding and just get to that elite level, which he clearly is at by qualifying for this tournament and making it as far as he has. Getting to the dance against the world champ. Here's Stone. Back to Charlie McAvoy. To Scheifele. Stone will score. He was at the doorstep unattended, naturally.
Wow, yeah, sitting there wide open. It's all Eki right now. You see the odd man rushes. It's again and again. He's had a breakaway already this game. Couple 2-on-1s, 3-on-1s. I don't know what is going on with Kriketsi's defense, but Eki is certainly taking advantage.
This definitely speaks to the goaltenders as well. And another chance there. Carey Price makes the save. Carey Price was actually the first goaltender drafted in the European Regional Draft. He went 7th round to Kriketsi. And Price, of course, widely regarded as, if not the best, one of the best goaltenders in the game. But talk about the goaltender sort of strategy in terms of drafting a goaltender win.
Yeah, most of the guys in this tournament, they focus on just getting the highest overall of this draft. We saw Carey Price obviously go #1. He is the highest overall goalie. But the thing is, a lot of it comes down to their ability to manual goalie. It's more of a mental game than the actual stats within the game. You see a lot of times, Crick, obviously, Eki had a breakaway already. He hit him with the flying poke check. It's basically a game of rock, paper, scissors. You don't know what your opponent's going to do. You don't know when you need to counter it. But we can see Eki, he's had a couple chances. Kriketsi with the good goaltending so far.
Faisal, I stepped on your time to talk there. I owe you dinner now.
Deal.
Second period underway. 2-0 for Eki. As we move along here in the semifinals, Eichel. Nice hit there to bump Eichel off the puck. Matthews has it now for Eki. McDonough in hot pursuit. A nice pass to Eichel, but actually intercepted by Kriketsi. Down 2-0. McDonough has it now. In the neutral zone to Sidney Crosby. Sid will hold on to it. To Burns at the point, takes a quick shot, doesn't make it through. Meanwhile, it's Aho to Matthews. Matthews has it now. His stick is lifted. Aho to Werenski, back to Matthews for Eki. Oh, Aho missed the one-timer. Back comes Kriketsi. 14:40 to go in the second. Hornquist has it. The shot misses the net. Back comes Eki, the champ, with Stone. Stone looking for McAvoy, who was streaking in through the hash marks. Couldn't find him, however. Kriketsi, meanwhile. can't make anything of it, so it will be Eki once again. Back and forth action in this second period. Back skating doesn't work in this instance for Eki. It will be Kriketsi with Domi now. Domi, L2 looking for that one-timer to line 8. Almost found it. Domi again at the doorstep. But again, goaltenders doing their jobs right now. Speaking of goaltenders, you mentioned it earlier. The first goalie drafted by Eki was Marc-Andre Fleury in the 15th round. He waited the latest to draft a goaltender, did Eki.
And it's interesting because he's not actually using that goaltender. He's opted to use Vasilevsky instead, meaning that goaltenders, especially in this tournament, it doesn't matter as much as you would think. He opted for even a later draft. It was one of his final picks, decided to pick up Vasilevsky, and it's paying off for him.
We had a chance to speak with many of the players regarding the regional draft, a unique feature here in the NHL Gaming World Championship. A lot of praise for the draft, and especially the draft pool. There were about 280 players, roughly, that were involved in the draft that the players could pick. They got the sheets in advance to be able to study the players. And a one-timer attempt there by Eki. He doesn't find the mark. But the rosters are definitely, you can tell in just comparing them, they're very well balanced.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's key to note, not every single player in the NHL is in this draft. Obviously, we're missing some bigger names there. The reason for that, they wanted them to be nice and even and also have a little bit of variety. So we have every overall with 94 overall, McDavid being the highest overall cards. There are cards on the 4th line all the way down to 77. So you have a good mix of those top-end, lower players. It makes a big difference who you put on the ice during those crucial moments.
And there are several players from every single NHL team represented. On Kriketsi's team, there are 17 NHL teams represented and 18 for Eki. Ristolainen for Kriketsi at the point. He needs 2 goals. Scheifele has it for Eki, brings it back. Scheifele, dangerous opportunity, Hoffman make, but the save there for Kriketsi. Back comes Eki. Eki scores! Running away with it is the champ.
Tell you what, another big stick lift as he entered the zone resulted in that goal. What a play from Eki. The stick lift, usually not utilized a ton in this game. He is using it to his advantage on every single one of his goals. That led to a golden opportunity wide open in the mid-slot.
You gotta wonder if that's a strategy that Eki was keeping secret for the GWC, just in the sense that I know we've only seen it twice, but we gotta keep an eye on it at this point because Eki, as that rings off the bar right there, Eki definitely the type of person, Nasher, that stops streaming after he qualified. Here's an opportunity, not quite for Kriketsi. He stopped streaming to stay secretive with his strats going into the GWC phaser.
No secret, though, about his play. We know he's good, and he is showing that in this first game of the first semifinal, a dominant 3-0 lead after 2 periods. A lot of stick lift, and we'll talk about that after the game, but right now, Kriketsi needs something to lift his spirit and lift his game. 1 period left to try to get back in game 1 of this semifinal.
Well, I'll tell you, lifting of Kriketsi's spirits will not be achieved by lifting of his stick that Eki has been so well to do. That was amazing. Put that in the Broadcast Hall of Fame. Hashtag esports, baby. I love it.
Wow, yeah. Truthfully, though.
Self-praise, eh? Self-praise for Arnold.
We're not going to mention anything.
Right? We're just going to move on now. Let's move on now. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Let's focus on Eki's gameplay here. The stick lift coming in huge for all 3 goals. Like you said, he's been keeping this strategy a secret. He's a big streamer, obviously starting to stream every single day. Following the win of last year in Vegas, he decided, hey, I'm going to cut this off. I'm going to focus on my game, not let anyone else see it.
Eki and Kriketsi both as I come back down to reality for a second here. Eki and Kriketsi both actually competed in club tournaments this year. Eki with the Washington Capitals and Kriketsi with the Tampa Bay Lightning. So both of them have spent time in the United States this year competing in CHL.
Yeah, we got to admire all the teams that are hopping on board to make NHL 19 what it is. This game's starting to grow a ton. Tournaments are spreading like wild, and hopefully we will see many, many more going into next year.
You and I having an opportunity to work in a place that may or may not be important to you, with the Columbus Blue Jackets. Very well run tournament, though. Shout out to the top to bottom for that organization. And another power play for Eki. He just seems to be drawing penalties at will.
Yeah, and that's right there. We saw him go into the back skate. We've seen that again and again this tournament. And a lot of guys, if you don't know how to perfectly defend that, you'll pay the price. Right there, we saw him do it again. He's on the power play and sets up a great play off the draw.
Well, Price makes sure that Kriketsi doesn't pay even more of a price. He's down 3-0 in this game right now, but Price making the save there. It is 3-0, third period, 14:44 to go. He does have the power play. He has been absolutely dominant while having the man advantage. Werenski at the point, you can just see his style of play to keep the puck. I mean, I call him the hashtag Corsi God for a reason. Had to get one in there in this broadcast. I promise only one. Eki still has it, though, but the puck possession is just incredible. Just that opportunity there, Nasher. Just the idea that he's able to create that space. And look at this again. Another chance. 3 players in front of the net there, but Price bailing Kriketsi out.
And we got to say, his draft strategy actually worked out really well here. He wanted to focus on getting good centers. There's another goal. It comes from the power play. It comes from getting the puck off the draw. He drafted 4 centers for this reason. And, of course, huge lead in this game. It's incredible what he's able to do.
Okay, let's say you're coaching Kriketsi. What are you telling him right now?
Listen, this game, it's not over yet. We saw earlier, Super being down 4-0 to play. He fought back, made it 4-3. There's a chance, you know, Eki could give up some soft goals. We just got to give Kriketsi a chance to really bounce back. 1 goal and the whole game can change. A couple quick ones here and there, but right now it is all the world champion Eki.
Now, you talked about centers and the way that Eki drafted centers in the first 4 rounds of the draft. Meanwhile, Kriketsi drafted Crosby in his first overall pick, but then didn't draft the natural center until the 11th round. So I wonder if that is coming back to haunt him at this point, as McDonough has the puck a save there for Eki.
He also was the first person in the entire draft to pick a goalie. He picked Carey Price in round 7. No one else was even close to that. A lot of people waited until round 8. Some even waited until rounds 20 plus to pick their first goaltender. So maybe that is coming back to bite him.
Domi has the puck for Kriketsi in the offensive zone. Another stick lift. Working in both ends of the ice for Eki. McDonough from the point misses the net. Landeskog corrals it, however. Still has it inside the face-off circle. Back to Burns at the point. Top of the face-off circle. Tries to unload the puck. Can't find the net. McAvoy for Eki. Eki still in his zone. Happy to possess. He leads 4-0 with just over 8 minutes left. Stahl muscled off the puck. And that will be whistled down. Kriketsi's captain, of course, Sidney Crosby, assistants Brent Burns and Gabriel Landeskog. Eki believes he has a top 3 team in this tournament. As we mentioned, speed was his only real concern. Dangles there. Vasilevsky definitely not a concern for Eki right now. Pominville. Great movement to create space there. Opting to go for the one-timers. We will see a lot. We saw that last year in the GWC. Nasher, explain to people who might be seeing this for the first time why they might take that one-timer approach as opposed to what you would believe to be the best opportunity for the shot.
Yeah, you're looking for obviously high scoring opportunities. In this game, you'll see a lot of players that cut across the middle. They'll shoot top corners. You'll see one-timers and one-handers on breakaways as well. There's a couple goals that they'll go in more often than not. But the thing is, these players know perfectly how to defend that. So they know how to counter it. They know where to poke check, when to hit. And it's kind of a mind game. You got to decide, hey, am I going to step up, take a risk, and make this defensive player? I'm going to sit back and just watch him do his thing. You see a little bit of both in this game. Eki with complete control.
Speaking of Eki, after winning the tournament and going pro and focusing on Chell, he, months after the first GWC, decided he wanted to propose to his girlfriend. And it was a pretty romantic way that he did it. Hang on a second here, Kriketsy's on the board. Put that story on hold as Damon Severson gets Kriketsy on the board.
4-1, hey, you know what? It's good that he at least got a goal. If he's not able to come back in this game, he'll have a little bit of momentum going into the next one. 3 goals, still a large amount to surmount. It looks like we did get a timeout from him there, so he's going to catch his breath a little bit. You can see he's picking a new song maybe on the playlist, getting himself in the zone. We'll see if that comes up for him.
Picking a new song just like we did here at the GWC this season. All new soundtrack.
I do like the songs.
Yeah, you do like the song.
Really
no
like
loyalty from you from season 1. that is pretty apparent. We've been talking about that. That's pretty funny. Great crew from top to bottom here, of course. Face it, Battlefy putting on a terrific tournament. Thus far, we're here at the European Regional Finals. It's 4-1 now. Eki letting in a rare goal in this tournament so far for him anyhow. As Kriketsy looking to build on that momentum, but it might be too little too late here with only 50 seconds to go in the third period. But might be playing for pride a little bit here, maybe get a couple shots on net, build a little bit of that confidence going into game number 2. Not out of it just yet.
Kriketsy obviously really looks up to Eki and his play style. He's going to learn a lot from this first game, and like I mentioned towards the beginning, he does have a very adaptive style of play, so it's going to take him some time to get used to each other. Maybe this first game was kind of a learning opportunity for him. Going into the next game, he kind of knows what Eki's up to. He knows his one-timer strategy. He knows to expect a lot of stick lifts.
Yeah, that's a strategy we definitely want to monitor and see if Eki continues to use that. He has been using that to success so far in this game. A shot saved there. 16 seconds to go. By the way, he proposed with rose petals. He wrote, "Will you marry me?" in rose petals. And she said yes. So.
And I'm assuming having $50,000 for a ring was also helpful.
I don't know if he was thinking about it at the time, but Faisal, that's probably a nice chunk of change to buy a ring with.
And he looks to be on his way, at least from one game, back to Vegas. Maybe another $50K, maybe another gift for the soon-to-be wife as well. A dominant 4-1 win for Eki in Game 1 of the semifinal against Kriketsy. Nasher, we need to talk stick lifts, okay? Because for the casual player, like myself, stick lifts often lead to penalties. And they lead to disasters. And it's something you want to do so much because it feels like it can be so effective. And when done right, it can be. But when done wrong, it could cost you a whole lot of things. We saw it lead directly to the first goal. It led to a power play that led to the second goal and led to a third goal as well. As we see the highlights of this game, why is this such an effective strategy when done right?
Yeah, it's a high-risk, high-reward kind of play. You know that if you're just a little bit misaligned and you stick lift, you're going to catch their glove, you're going to catch them in the wrong spot, and that's going to result in a penalty. Eki knows exactly when to do it right. You see his fiance on the screen there cheering him on as well. Every single goal was a result of the stick lift. He knows what he's doing, he knows how to do it, and look at the smile on his face. You can tell his plan is going to perfection.
I really feel like that's his strategy. I feel like it's deliberate because everything that Eki does is just part of the master plan. So I think the stick lift, if I were to guess, he's been practicing. He's been trying that out, and he's using that as the secret weapon, and it's so far so good.
And you got to get the timing down just right. Hey, it's almost time for our next game. While that is getting set up, here's a quick word from one of our sponsors. Kriketsy is one of the newcomers to the EU Regional this year. He finished first in the PS4 qualifier after taking a 5-year break from playing NHL. Meet Kriketsy.
It means a lot if I qualify to Vegas. It's like so hard from Europe. There is so many players. I can say 6 names right now who is very hard to beat. So if I qualify, it will be a miracle and very big thing for myself. If I win $50,000, I will just save it and use some of it to new car.
We heard him mention the word miracle. It might take that to get back into a series against Eki. But hey, he's here for a reason. Let's see what he brings to Game 2. It is time to start the second game of the series between Kriketsi and Eki.
Kriketsi actually had more success in qualifying this year than Eki did. He actually, they both lost 2 games. However, Eki lost 2 games in the final series against Hanselino. This was in the seeding in order to pick your, to create the order at which they picked in the regional draft. Kriketsi only lost 1 game to Sage in their 3-game series, ended up winning that series, went on to face Playmaker and won him online as well. Of course, there are big differences from playing online in the comfort of your own home and playing here on such a grand stage like this, but that is impressive for Kriketsi.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of where Eki has the advantage. He's been here before. He's played on the big stage with the lights on his face, cameras everywhere. Obviously, with Kriketsi being kind of a new guy on this scene, only playing competitively really for the last year, it's tough to come into a big tournament like this without having done it before.
Kriketsi's team, if you were to put the rosters that they picked in their respective GWC Chell rosters and take their real stats from the NHL this past season, Kriketsi would have had 403 goals on his squad versus Eki's 367. In fact, he dominates in pretty much every single area except for plus-minus, a -47 for his roster in the real NHL versus a +16 for Eki, which might or may not be a fact. That might just be a fun little tidbit. But the way that they're playing right now, you can certainly see why that is the case.
Absolutely, and looking at both of the lineups, a lot of guys in this tournament, they looked at Eki's lineup. They didn't think he necessarily had the best one, but I think for Eki right now, he's playing to his strengths. He knew exactly how to draft. Like you mentioned during the last game, it's all mind games with Eki. He's one of the strongest mental players here. Everything he does, it seems to have a reason to it.
Game number 2 is set to begin. Eki victorious in Game 1, looking to pull off his 2nd consecutive sweep in the semifinals, and a win here would book him a ticket to Las Vegas, and the only thing to sort after that would be whether he takes home $5,000 and a guaranteed entry into the Final Four or a 2nd place play-in, but still a trip to Vegas. Let me add on that, actually. You mentioned that some people would look at Eki's roster and not necessarily be overwhelmed or impressed by it. Why is that?
I mean, you look at it and it's not like Hanselino's team where you look at, obviously, Connor McDavid, the difference maker. When you look at Eki's lineup, there's not necessarily that standout guy. Obviously, he has some good players. He's got Eichel, he's got Matthews, he's got Aho, but there's not that standout guy. And for Eki, he's more of just, I'm going to move the puck with whoever I can and find space wherever I can. We saw him do it in the last game, and we'll see if he can do it again.
Now, face-offs were definitely important. He's mentioned that to us as well. Matthews, Scheifele, Aho, Eichel. Aho is using on the wing right now, but definitely some heavy-duty centers. But he did not activate the face-off master synergy. Are you surprised by that?
I am. I mean, he has, maybe it's because of the centers that he got. He probably drafted the best possible centers available during the draft. Not all of them necessarily.
And Nicole! How about that? Eki getting on the board first, and it is Sebastian Aho, one of the centers not playing there, but it is Carlson and Matthews with the assists.
Wow, would you look at that one? He went in nice and tight. He got the backhand, forehand, backhand to bury it. Kriketsi there, shaking his head in disbelief. He just scores every time he has a good opportunity. It ends up in the back of the net.
You can't give him any good looks. So let's take a look at it one more time here. And it's just, I mean, it's like clockwork. Anytime he gets dangerously close like that, he just knows exactly what to do, and he's able to bury the puck. And that's exactly what he did there.
There's not a ton of space there. You know, for the average player online, they're going to have that opportunity, you know, 5-6 times a game, never going to bury it. He gets his first one of the entire game, probably even his first decent opportunity on net, and it's in the back of it. He's up 1-0 early. We've still got plenty of time, obviously, for Crick to come back.
53 seconds.
So Eki's on the board first, early in the first period, picking up where he left off in game number 1. Burns now for Kriketsi. To Kane. Oh, Crosby had an open net there. If you just get the puck, but couldn't, a little bit out of reach. Carlton celebrating in the bottom right corner. For what reason? I guess because Toronto's winning. I'm not sure why. Carlton just, you know, threw his fist in the air. They're not really sure why. Needed to do that during gameplay. It was a little bit distracting, but here we are. Thank you, Carlton. McAvoy to Hoffman. And that will be offside.
No crazy stick lift so far this game. I was waiting for Eki. Right? Yeah, every single goal I expect a stick lift right before it. Nothing too crazy yet. Maybe Kriketsi is figuring out his strategy. Who's to say? Obviously, still a lot of time left in this one.
Eki mentioned that he practiced almost exclusively with Playmaker for this tournament. They definitely did not play against players they would have had to play on their side of the bracket to qualify for Vegas. So that's why Eki and Plea already great friends as it is, but they definitely practice. And more, sort of like a iron sharpens iron kind of situation. They believe in each other's talents, and they say they're about 50-50 against each other. Do you believe them?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Those two guys going head to head, and we actually interviewed both of them separately. They both said they were 50-50, so we can confirm that that is actually true.
We actually tried to phase Eki by saying Playmaker said that he takes the majority of the wins and he didn't believe us. He's like, no, Playmaker wouldn't say that.
I will say Eki's a very superstitious player. I remember last year we have kind of a practice station set up where they can play and get warmed up. Eki would not play anyone before the tournament began. He didn't want to give up his strategies. Today, I saw him over there, only played Plea, like you mentioned.
Kriketsi with line A, tries to take a shot, doesn't find anything. Landeskog has it behind the net. Hits the iron. Back looking for Ristolainen at the point, doesn't find him. There's Austin Matthews. Nudivara has it to Carlson. Hannafin. Zucker in a battle for Eki. Eki will win the battle. Carlson has it behind the net. To Stahl, Pominville. Back skating across the blue line, Pominville. Successfully, might I add, Zucker was at the doorstep, but a save there. Kriketsi with Price. Eki with Vasilevsky between the pipes. Little. Bounced off the puck, still has it though. Buchnevich. Down the goal line, Kriketsi. Only 1-0. 2 minutes and change left in the first period. Between the legs, pass to Pominville. Oh, Cirelli looking for Pominville, the one-timer. Again, an opportunity. You look at that and you think maybe Cirelli will take the shot, but no, the higher percentage goes to that one-timer attempt.
Yeah, he knows if he would have shot that there, puck would have just bounced off the pads, went to the corner, and probably been a dead play. That resulted in a great opportunity. Surprised that he actually missed the net there. Wide open net in front, but unfortunately was not able to get it done.
We were asking Eki, we mentioned earlier about how Eki, his phone blew up and he got so many messages from people he hadn't talked to in so long after winning a championship like this on a world stage. And we asked him, do you appreciate the attention? A big stop there at the end of the first period. We'll resume this at the start of the second.
Kriketsi almost getting himself back into this game at the end of the first. A couple great chances there to even up this game, but it is still Eki on top. But Nasher, you have to say, a little more even of a period than maybe the last game that we saw between these two.
Yeah, there's been good opportunities from both players, especially at the end there. We saw Kriketsi almost make his way back into this one. Lots of open nets that have been missed on one-timers. Honestly, looking at this, it could certainly go either way, and I think towards the second and third, we will see a couple more goals go into this.
We saw Kriketsi shake his head after giving up that first goal, shaking his head at the end of that first period as well. Maybe the second will be more fortunate for him. He needs to find a way back. He's down 1-0.
Second period underway. We asked Eki, just to continue that story, whether he likes the attention or whether he doesn't like it. He wants to remain anonymous, or at least as anonymous as you can be, being a world champion. He said, no, I kind of like the attention. I don't mind it. So he's able to focus on that. And you also notice, too, like just from last year to this year, during interviews and the media, you can just tell he's a lot more polished this year.
Yeah, he's like an actual NHL player, a real-life NHL player. He's in his zone when he's playing his game. Once he gets to the post-game interviews, he does a great job of just talking through, you know, hey, this was my strategy going into the game. This is why I did what I did. And really, he's so composed. We talked about his mental behavior. He's just the most mentally strong guy. If he's down big in this tournament, you know he'll bounce back. Fortunate for him, he hasn't been down once throughout this entire tournament so far.
Kriketsi looking to change that in this second period. Back to Theodore at the point. Theodore brings the puck forward to the top of the face-off circle. Dance around to Laine, who was covering for Ristolainen, who's back into his position. Ristolainen will go beyond the goal line with the puck. Gets pinned up against the board. Still has it, though. Pinned up again. Pushes the puck to Laine. Laine collects it at the face-off circle. Landeskog chasing after it, but instead Eki will push it forward but make a line change. Nice little move there to just buy him a couple extra seconds to make that line change.
Yeah, we talk about getting pucks deep. Well, that's what he just did there. He could have, you know, tried to circle around a bit, be more aggressive and grab the puck. You saw there as the lines popped up, his second line was completely out of energy. He put his first line up, and now he's got a chance going up the ice.
Getting pucks in deep. I've never heard that in hockey before. From any interview
to be fair,
ever.
you don't hear it in Chell very often.
Misses the net, does Kriketsi. Halfway through the first period, just about. There's Austin Matthews with the puck. Looking for Eichel with the pass, doesn't find it. Aho. Still has it in the neutral zone. To Nudivara. Nudivara spins around to Pominville. Nice pass to Demers. Back to Pominville. A little give and go. Spins around the full 360 this time. The puck scrambling in front of Price. And it'll be collected by Kriketsi. That was a poor pass. Aho collects it again. Aho still has it. To Nudivara. Back to Pominville. More puck possession by Eki. Matthews behind the net. He had a terrific wraparound goal earlier in this series. Pominville. Back to Matthews behind the net. It's almost like that's Eki's office. A nice one-timer there. Price makes the save. It's almost like that's Eki's office with Matthews in this particular tournament.
Yeah, he takes him behind the net. Obviously, Matthews a good passer, a good shooter, very good stick handling and speed as well. So he's able to really just do whatever he wants to do behind the net there and in those corners. Looks like his main strategy here is just waiting for that open one-timer. We've seen that strategy from a couple other players in this tournament. Hanselino doing the same thing, and both of these guys having a lot of success with it.
Eki looking for that lead pass. Kriketsi reading it. It'll still happen, though. Aho has it. Back skates. Keeps possession. Great movement by Eki, too, just to evade those defenders. Finally, Severson gets it for Kriketsi.
Such a smart play, too, because you saw he was going for a line change there. He could have tried to rush up, probably would have led to a bad opportunity if he would have turned it over. Instead, he decided, hey, I'm going to take it back. We're going to get it along the boards, take our time, and that's what resulted in a good opportunity for him.
Kriketsi wearing the colors of the Colorado Avalanche, has two players on that team, Zadorov and Landeskog, but mostly has three Rangers, Jesper Fast, Pavel Buchnevich, and Henrik Lundqvist. Opting to play Carey Price in between the pipes. Face off in the neutral zone, a tie-up. Eki will collect. 20 seconds to go in the second period. Still 1-0 for Eki. Perhaps a tepid second period by both competitors, getting their chances, but really Eki would come out the winner just by the fact that it's still 1-0 for him.
No goals in that second period to report on, but If you're Eki now, a period away from guaranteeing your spot to Vegas, Nasher, do you change up your strategy into third, or is he the type of player that's just still going to go guns out trying to score and add to this lead?
No, I think he's going to keep on doing what he's doing. You know, there hasn't been a lot of offense from both guys. Eki, he has the ability to have a deadly offense, but also a very strong defense. And right now, he's got the defensive mode on. He's not letting anything into the zone. No good opportunities from either player in that second period, and I think we'll see a lot of the same. It could be a very low-scoring game.
If you're Kriketsi, what do you do?
He's got to get something going here. I mean, we need a little bit more creativity from him. He's kind of just playing textbook, you know, competitive hockey, which is kind of circling around, looking for those one-timers. It's not working with Eki's defense, so he's got to get more creative, maybe add a couple spins, add a couple dekes to the mix, and get something to go in.
Third period underway. I wonder if that'll include just more shots on net. It feels like Eki has 3 times the amount of shots. Don't have the stats in front of me right now, but it just feels like Eki's getting a lot more opportunities, even in this game right now, and he might be a lot more as Eki now goes on the power play.
Yep, and we're going to see now, will the center strategy pay off? Is he going to win this draw? A lot of the times you win the draw, you tie up, you have a one-timer.
Well, it does collect the puck, so is able to set up here.
1 minute, 5 seconds.
Nasher, that's why we pay you the big bucks, man.
Hey, I tried. Unfortunately, not able to get the one-timer set off, but still a good opportunity nonetheless, and he has control.
Here's Eichel. Oh, what a pass. Oh, he scores. It trickles through. Carey Price can't collect it. A little fist bump for Eki, and that could be the one to send him to Vegas.
And Kriketsi never touched the puck at all on that possession. Once Eki won the draw, he had complete control. He was just looking around, waiting for that perfect opportunity, and there it is. A little bit of a lucky bounce. You saw that one bounce off the top of the pad. Goaltender tried to turn around to make the save, couldn't quite get it, and Eki, with a sigh of relief, will watch this one back.
Price was in position there, but the puck just had seeing eyes and found its way across the goal line. Eki happy with the fruits of his labor there, but really, as amount of luck as there may have been in that moment, it was really everything that led up to it, which was complete skill from Eki.
Right, winning that draw, the tie-up led to the opportunity with the one-timer. This guy's doing everything right now. Now, will he continue to press on, like Faisal mentioned? Will he sit back and maybe decide to play more defense? Only time will tell.
Eki almost had a third right there, looking for that final pass, just couldn't find it. Kriketsi needs something. 14 and change left in the third period. He is down 2 goals, needs at least 2 to push this game to extra time, to keep his hopes alive. Otherwise, the world champ will be able to defend his crown at the grand finals. What can Kriketsi do now? Domi has the puck. Domi, around, takes a shot, goes nowhere. Back comes Eki. A pass to Stone. Was telegraphing that defensive pinch, and it was met by a collision in the neutral zone. Here's Hanifin for Eki. Up to Aho. Aho evades the defender well, still has the puck, looks for McAvoy. Battle there won by Kriketsi. Here's Laine. Laine for Kriketsi. Great space movement there, creation of space, I should say. Ristolainen can't necessarily find a pass. Theodore at the point. Eki is just such a great defensive player. Nasher is just able to create space like that, and that will be another. That's a power play. In fact, that could have been a penalty shot.
I thought we were going to see one. He made a beautiful move using L2, the back skate, faked one way, went the other, and almost had that chance. And it looks like we are going to be getting a timeout. I'm not sure who made that. It might have been Eki looking to get that first line back on the ice.
Even if Eki's not able to convert on these opportunities, he's so crafty that he's just able to draw penalties almost at will.
And every single time he has a power play, the puck's in his hands. Look at this, behind the net, just sitting here, especially now that he has a 2-0 lead. He's going to take what he can get.
And look at that, make it a 3-goal lead.
There it is, fixed in the hair from Eki. Wow, another good one-timer goal. This guy, he's not making any mistakes. This is picture-perfect shell.
This might be the greatest power play prowess that we have ever seen in competitive chess. Like just the way that he dominating every single power play opportunity. In this series in particular, the way that he is possessing the puck and doing whatever he wants. I mean, this is a clinic.
Yeah, and it's directly from the face-off to the goal. Every single aspect, it's timed out. He's looking for that good opportunity, and fortunate enough, it's working out for him. I believe he has only not scored on a power play one time this entire tournament. Unbelievable.
Kriketsi has 5 minutes and change to salvage what is left of his tournament right now. He needs to push hard. He's got Crosby to Kane. What can he do here? Kane has the puck, inching closer towards the net. To Laine, can't get the shot off. Matthews playing great defense here in this game as well. Here's Kane for Kriketsi. Still possessing the puck in the offensive zone, but only 3 minutes and 45 seconds to go. To Laine. Laine to Crosby. Vasilevsky makes the stop. 3 minutes to go in the third. 3-0 Eki. Eki, minutes away from a second trip to Vegas. McDonough for Kriketsi. To Burns. To Domi. Back to Burns. To McDonough. A shot saved. Landeskog with the bullet. Nothing there. Matthews, Hannafin, a minute left to go. And just as so many predicted, the world champion, all eyes on him, said, I don't mind. That's just more attention for me to show how great I am at this game. He actually lost the first NHL19 game he played. But it didn't matter because we're booking the ticket right now. The NHL's travel department literally had everything set up and is just going to press enter in about 23 seconds. Because Eki will have the opportunity to make that 15.5-hour flight again from Helsinki to Las Vegas as the returning champion to say, I will be a two-time champ. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is an impressive feat.
Start fitting the suit. It's going to be a long plane ride to Vegas. We say goodbye to Kriketsi. A valiant effort, but Eki just too dominant again. Nasher, no surprise.
Unbelievable. The power play ended up being the difference maker in this game. Eki's play, perfect. Every single aspect about it, from the face-off to the final goal. Every single time he had a good opportunity, he buried it. Obviously didn't get too aggressive towards the end there. He had a 2-0 lead and just decided to hold on to it.
You mentioned the power play and how dominant it was. You mentioned before that second goal, hey, if he gets a tie up on that face-off, gets the puck, it could be dangerous for him and could be a problem for Kriketsi. We saw it twice in that period and towards the end of that game there. Simply dominant when he's got the puck with the man up, right?
Yeah, I mean, he didn't even have to worry about setting up a breakout or anything on the other end. It was a tie-up off the draw immediately after the power play, and that led to a goal twice. I mean, what else can you do in a situation like that? That's just picture-perfect hockey.
You heard Arda call the game. Let's show you what went down in Game 2 between Eki and Kriketsi. A chance to go to Vegas on the line for the reigning world champ, and he took Arda full advantage.
One thing I want to ask the players, especially playing against Eki at this level, is when Eki takes the lead, how much does that weigh on you mentally? Just the fact that, yeah, you are one of the best players. Kriketsi is one of the best players in Europe this year. Do not take anything away from his accomplishment. To have moved on to the semifinals of this tournament in a year of practice is incredible, right? We have to give Kriketsi credit here. But when you're playing the world champion and you're down by a goal, by 2 goals, by 3 goals, just the fact that you're playing Eki, the world champion, it almost feels like the weight of the world is on your shoulders at that point. As we look at the bracket.
And you know that he's thinking to himself, hey, I got to do something here. I got to change things up. That's when he started to take the penalties. It's an endless cycle. We see Eki moving on to Vegas. He's going to be taking on either Hanselino or Plea there from that bottom bracket. And wow, that is going to be quite the matchup.
All right, let's hear what he has to say. Let's head on over to Carly, standing by with the reigning world champ in the Honda Road to the finals area.
Thanks, guys. That's right. I'm here with Eki, who just won his next series of semifinals. You're going to Las Vegas again. How do you feel?
Of course, very good. This is what I've been practicing for the whole year, so of course it feels very good to get rewarded.
So your next series is going to be against either your best friend Playmaker or someone who you said has the best team of the tournament, Hanselino. What's it going to take to get that win?
I think this is going to be the toughest matchup. These were the two guys I expected to be the toughest ones here, so let's see. I will do my best.
How important is it to you to win the next series and get that Final Four spot in Las Vegas?
Of course, it's very huge, but this was my main goal, just to make it to Vegas again. So I'm happy with this, so I can play pretty relaxed then.
Well, congrats on making your way to Las Vegas again, and good luck in the next series. Thanks again, Eki.
All right, thank you very much, Carly. Yeah, we heard from Eki there, a little more looser maybe in that final. The weight is off his shoulders because he's going to Vegas, but there's still some incentive to play for.
Yeah, not too relaxed, I hope, because you're still playing for $5,000, and not only that, you're playing to be guaranteed a spot in the Final Four. Remember, those second-place competitors from Europe, from Canada, and the United States have to play each other in a play-in for that final fourth spot. If you're in first place, you automatically make it. So, of course, there's incentive. Of course, Eki should be taking it seriously. I'm sure he is, but, I mean, what a matchup, right? Playmaker and Hanselino, are you kidding me? So he's going to have to face one of those two in the finals? Whew.
And we are going to get to that match on the other side. Right now, it is time for a quick break, but stay with us. Coming up, oh, it is another juicy semifinal matchup. Hanselino versus Playmaker. The winner, well, one will be going on to face Eki. Both will be going on to Vegas here at the NHL Gaming World Championship.